Oke, kita lanjut day 2 untuk watch party VCT master ya. Yang dimana day 2 ini akan mempertemukan satu tim dari Pasifik, ya sama sih Pasifik, China, baru M-nya dengan NA gitu. Pokoknya gitulah ya. Nah langsung aja kita ke matchnya sebentar. Kekepan jendela ini tamban koma.
Confident enough, right, to just go in there.
Ini match pertama Sentinel melawan Wolf. Sentinel North America, Wolf itu China, teman-teman. Sini kita akan lihat performa dari Zeken. Babang Zeken. Let's go. Map yang akan dibawakan adalah Split, yang dimana Sentinel akan bawakan agent Cyber, Sky, Omen, Viper, dan juga Race. Sementara Wolves Esports akan bawakan agent Cyber, Omen, Fate, Race, dan juga Viper. Sama komposisi agent. Oh, no. Theo Chamber kah yang dibawa oleh Wolves? Kira tadi udah dikunci agentnya guys. Fate. Viper masih bingung apakah membawa Fate atau Theo. Yoru juga tampaknya masih ban and pick. Ban and pick masih pick untuk agent yang akan digunakan.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it narrates Breach. I remember my own team, we VOD reviewed so much of Sentinels, and how they play Breach on Split is super key and extremely fundamental to how they play their defense especially. Narrate gets so much value out of his reads early on, before the freeze time even ends, where he's going to position himself early to capitalize on those stuns.
But the important thing for Sentinels, he's starting on the defensive side, is the mid-rounding, right? When information is taken away from them, how do you actually scout? Sky, not great at scouting. You have the dog and a couple of flashes, only to be able to work with, and they don't have a dedicated Sentinel, so a lot of pressure.
Dan ini dia komposisi agent yang akan dibawakan oleh kedua tim. Ada Sky tadi tampaknya. MIBR itu North America ya, MIBR. Oh ya, MIBR. MIBR tampaknya dari North America deh. Ya, match hari ini ada dua tim dari North America, region North America, satu tim dari region China, dan satu tim dari region APAC, ASEAN Pacific. Ini dia agent akan membawakan. Saya membawakan agent Yoru, Viper, Omen, dan juga Skybridge. Wolf bawakan agent Race, Cyber, Fate, Race, Cyber, Fate, Viper, dan juga Omen.
Sends that on defense side here on the pistol, and already Zekken's looking to take a decent amount of real estate here on that B side of the map. Gate crash across the map that will allow for a quick rotate.
I mean, this comp from Sentinels, certainly not lacking in flashes. They can get very proactive, popping out of smokes, past walls. Zekken right now wants to take contact off this flash, but shut down. Juicy and Spring.
The flash was good. Can't complain about it. Wolves, though, were ready to take the fight there. Delsa's affected by paranoia, and this is Orca. The wall is dropped. He's going to have to take this fight, and Juicy rips him a new one. John can barely peer out of defense side. Spring sees him cross. Banks trying to get some sort of position towards Heaven side now as the plant goes down. The veteran Lysor gets it in there.
Bang understands that this flank from YU is likely coming. Spotted output. Now this Cypher just needs to stay alive, bide some time, distract them. Fair enough. Time is dropping, and I love this reflank coming in from Sea of Fat.
Yeah, they're on a timer. There's also going to be presence from Heaven. Spring's going to get there! It's Lysor! What an opener! Basically every kill, a headshot there for Wolves. And they were ready for the trap send late at B.
There's going to be so much proactivity like that from Sentinels here on defense. So if Wolves can continue to nullify that, flash turned by both players, quick on that reaction. And look at these taps from Lysor, who is by far the most experienced player on this Wolves team when it comes to international events. Every single one he attended with FPX in 2024. That experience is going to need to come into play to keep the rest of these guys in it. He's been such a consistent force for them.
Tech pulls down on the stage. A keyboard issue being cited. So we have at least a chance to try and establish ourselves now at the start of this game, because John QT picking up the sky here. Obviously, we're very used to seeing this team just force Teho every single map. We got teased a little bit in Agents, so like thinking maybe we would head back to the Cypher. But this is the look that Sen have sort of settled on. Obviously, Zekken still going to be on that Yoru, a huge component of their run. A big recovery when they got back to the Americas region after that shocking start in Bangkok. Can he carry them further?
One of the big gameplay narratives coming into this year with Sentinels, when 10 Saucy departed, they need to reformat how they're approaching the game, was why is John not playing Sentinel when you have narrative?
In the past on most of their maps as well. Tech pause sorted. We're going to be jumping back into the game now. It's Wolves, of course, on their anti-eco.
Brought up a couple rifles, just going to leave that ghost towards Spring, who's going to be surely trying to lurk, take a couple engagements with no upgrade here. Look at this from Wolves. This is really right now telling the story of what they know they're up against.
Yeah.
At any moment, there could be multiple flashes with a fault line coming right at them, especially on an eco round. So they are taking their sweet, sweet time. We're already 40 seconds in and they're chilling.
Delsa took a big hit there. Some spray potentially as the poison orb came up in mid. That trap wire indicates that Wolves may not opt to stay at the A side. They're hoping to tease something out. Here's a flash mid for a re-clear. Nothing spotted by Sen. Now they'll disperse a little further. At least Zekken will move back towards Heaven. That's a ping from Wolves, though, in mid. They're starting to make this move on A.
We are down to 45 seconds, so there is no map control right now for Wolves. Look at Sen. They've read the situation. They're pivoting over, and certainly that trailblazer broken, though, now.
Now time getting a little even lower. Where do Wolves go from here? Hit by the fault line, unable to make that execute onto A, but Spring has started to create an opening here through mid. Center responding, though.
They're on the full rotate. Now Spring is going to beat them there. The rest of the team should be able to get to Heaven. Do they have a smoke to actually cut this off with a molly? That will do the job. 20 seconds to cross into the site. Still time is so low.
Horde confirms no players for Sentinels are in this part of the site for now, so in they go. Lysol just want to stand up over towards here. That defense spawn choke.
10 seconds left.
The attack side will have themselves a plan. Sen not able to create any trap opportunities early in the round. Only equipped with classics. There's not a whole lot to be done.
These guys are giving me some serious anxiety with that late rotate. Sen we're stacked up and ready now. It's just about
going.
Wolves cleaning this up with ease.
Spring and Lysol going to be grouped up here in the back of sight. They're going to be facing down a bunch of classics. This should be easy enough for them, but Duran's able to find Juicy. Guiding Light goes in, does find a ping, but the wall gets thrown up here by the attack side. They can sit happily behind that now, and they handle Sentinels, corral them into the site, and walk out of the round with 3 rifles.
All of the important guns carried over from Wolves. Dangerous for a moment there. Sen were so aware of what they were doing, and that was a round where Wolves, it was looking like they were a little too apprehensive about how offensive this Sen comp is going to be on defense. But once they're set up here, that wall to play off that you called out is really going to simplify things for Wolves. And credit them, I mean, they did get to this site with everybody alive. And it's a pretty clean anti-eco overall. Let's get into this bonus round.
One thing we're looking for is we're looking to see if Wolves can make adaptations on the fly. In the past, they really stuck to plan A and didn't really change things up when things got weird mid-round. One of the criticisms has been leveled at them.
And certainly one of the reasons that the run to get here was so volatile. You know, winning a clean 2-0 over Billy, qualified and losing 0-3. Here's Juicy trying to press up towards mid. An incredibly aggressive player, specifically when he's on this duelist, on this map even. He is a menace.
Look at his space. Juicy's getting a lot of room up mid, but Zelsis plants his feet, ready to receive him, but at the same time, the push is coming to the B side, but bang, is hidden.
Spring is so aware.
Oh, that's straight through smoke, Lysol. You can't be doing that. Now Zekin and John are a little bit split from each other. John attempts a hallway, and Ryu just blows him up. Zekin just has to walk away with his gun intact. There's not much else to do.
Free little upgrade for YU on the bonus round conversion. Zekin forced to save. Bank broken for Sen. Wolves with all the momentum in the world early. What a play from Spring. Now he is a man on this team that shows absolutely zero fear. Reckless abandon at times. Often getting him punished, but feels just as often when you watch this guy. He is going to outright win rounds for this team. I just love that awareness from him, realizing that Bang is going to be playing around the cloud that he had up. He drops and he's posted for the duel. That is insane.
He's the kind of player, even as a Viper player, that loves to just stand out in the open and take these duels. Sometimes early in the round, so it's been exploitable in the past for Wolves, but in that situation, it was just what they needed to control B.
So when you're on attack and you're getting clean 1v1 wins over Bang anchoring a site, you're earning my respect, because these are the situations where Bang is at his finest.
Zelsa is the only player for Sentinels who's really able to have any stopping power in that round. As that poison orb came down, he was just too slow to the punch. Rough starting for Sentinels. We've got him mic'd up. That's an interesting decision.
We're going to see a lot of stingers on this half by very North America coded of Sen to be bringing these in.
Bring them down.
The expert region with one of the silliest guns in the game.
Blinded.
They really want this mid control, Sen. Have already thrust Zekin straight down. And Wolves was playing, again, very passively early, just like we saw in that anti-eco round. 2 players grouped up towards Ramen, but Zekin's got a pretty far forward off bang. Sufan's able to spot it out though. Of course, Gate crashes away. Now Wolves do have to re-clear mid to some degree, but they're starting to encroach on A, and they've got a local player advantage here.
Juicy has worked some nice space here. YU spamming through. Sen, again, they are rotating heavily to where Wolves have made noise. This is really reminiscent of that eco round they had earlier. They are stacked up on the proper site, and it looks like Wolves want to force the issue.
Oh, this could be dangerous though. Zekin from within the dark cover, but Juicy takes the fight to them. That, however, though, is where the Stingers thrive. Juicy is cut down. 40 seconds left in the round, and here at least Wolves are changing things up. You'll note that Lysor has taken the spike across towards mid. They have, though, left Spring here.
30 seconds left.
Does Lysor dare try to take this spike towards B? Do Wolves attempt to pivot? They're going to. He should be able to get a free plant. Doesn't look like Bang is going to be in position to stop by to get there going so late, man. We've got 15 seconds on the clock, but they should be able to get the spike down. Sen do recover another
This is
upgrade.
10
Gun
seconds
to
left.
narrate. Oh my god, this could be
He has the gun.
this could be everything on the round.
The right gets past them, but the timing here is very tight. Siufat is likely to come up behind Sentinels here, and they may not be ready for a bated breath here as Wolves try and close the net. But John wins out against Spring. Siufat has to go large here, but he doesn't have much to shoot at. Sees John. Trigger discipline. Pays off. Now he's got that heaven control. Sentinels are starting to filter out onto the site. Lysol waiting. Dark cover blooms. He'll see it all here and brings Elsis to heal. The shot through the smoke might be too much in the hand of Siufat from the rafters. Can finish the job. That's 4 for the fade and 4 for Wolves.
The IGL of Wolves. Speaking of how much this tournament meant to him, comes up in a crucial round where Sen could have halted the momentum they've got from winning that bonus on the prior. The patience here. Beautiful flank, and then able to just snap onto the remaining Sentinel players while they were distracted by Lysor in the site. 3v4, 1 out. A couple rounds where Sen had to read on what Wolves are doing, putting them in a horrendous time situation, but they are still able to win it out.
Now those Sentinels do have their rifles back to hand. Okay, second. Coming off second best in that early encounter. Spring always up for a fight.
He will not shy away from taking a duel like that. Wolves are getting some space up here towards mid. Last time when this was the case, we saw Juicy just double satchel straight into heaven, and the rest of his team got caught off by Amali. Sometimes situations like that were their undoing in the qualifying run. Spring with the adjustment, his aim is sick.
And that was after. Second pulled back from mid, so now Sentinels do not have information about that part of the map. They've got no idea that Wolves have concentrated their players towards his A side. Bang's about to get awful busy. The highest ACS and KPR controller in America's playoffs. A real standout player is about to have his hands very full. We'll spray through. Siufat feels the burn. Wolves are milling about here over towards main now. Looking to take that ramp control, but look at Sen. They are going to get some players up ropes.
3 players potentially to fight here for Sen. Juicy going to cross. Second a bit too far, or John rather, with that Trailblazers. Elsis, does he have an opportunity to get off the rope? No, he's just feeling the danger, the pressure. Bang is going to have to at least get 1 here.
Oh, the timing!
Only 2, 1 and fault line.
Perfect setup, and Bang brings the house down. They really needed that.
The stun from Narrate was perfect, made it absolutely effortless for one of the best anchor defensive players in the game. Flash as well, it's on everybody.
They were trying to run through maple syrup, Wyatt. Do not recommend.
Spike down.
3rd round, where Wolves had intentions of going A. This time they commit, and Sen have the full rotate, the full read on them. This is the first time they've actually been able to convert that, though, where they've been able to use that overwhelming initiator utility to halt them at a choke point when they're dropping out of heaven.
Still a timeout here called for Sentinels. They obviously want to build off that very important round 5 win. And I think they've probably gotten on to the fact that Wolves are playing at the speed that should allow Sentinels to set up the traps just like that. Have a little bit of advance notice, providing they can maintain some map presence and get some information in those mid rounds.
When we do head back into this on round 6, Wolves are 1 orb away from 4 different ultimates right now. So you have to imagine out of this Sen, they could be setting up a trap. If there's a fight from Wolves to get an orb over to Juicy, maybe get him that showstopper, that Sen are going to trigger some kind of fault line into a flash. Second swinging off that. Something that Sentinels are going to have to consider here.
Second struggling with these early encounters with Spring so far, Wyatt. Just a slower start for the Yoru.
Keep up. That's after being on an absolute heater run in the Americas playoffs. Second was an unbelievable duelist there. Early aftershock is going to allow Zekin to press up into main, specifically playing off of that dark cover too. So Wolves are going to have to invest some resources, at the very least this Prowler, to regain space, but that's not enough to force Zekin away.
That instant Viper wall that cuts mid. Wolves looking to make use of that to gain some space, but Zekin eventually has to give up B main.
Enough resources committed, and that dark cover dropping. He knows he's in significantly more danger than Wolves going to pivot towards mid. YU has just been ensuring that no one from Sentinels has pushed too far on this A side. They want to go for the split at the moment.
This is dangerous.
This is the weakest the A site has been in terms of numbers for Sen, when Wolves are actually going to hit it.
Bank can sense. He can sense something's a bit wrong, Wyatt. And risk of getting pinched now as that Heaven control's been effortlessly taken by Wolves. Given over by Sen. This is the position Bang was playing from the previous round. Is Juicy double satchel into elbow. Presumably, oh, it's a devastating push.
I know exactly.
And there it is. Narrate just handled.
30
Spring
seconds
is
left.
nasty. Zakin and Zelsa's doubled up here. Trying to find a way back in, but that Poison Orb is going to deny any more progress. Fernandez walking away from this.
Spring always hungry for more, wants to go for the pre-fire even. I mean, the Sun economy isn't great, but neither is Wolves. They would love to carry all of these guns over. Juicy in that round comes up huge on the double satchel. John just not prepared for him to go through elbow, through the molly that was thrown down on the ground. Those are the plays that Juicy will come up with, because he is just so insanely aggro with the satchels. He will commit so hard on those jumps, sometimes going too far. There isn't a follow-up, but when he succeeds, it will outright win rounds for this Wolves squad.
And you can see Sentinels insisting on trying to take some control of the extremities. Into B main, Zekin pushed early in the round. Over on the A side of the map, we saw Bang try and get forward towards YU, but the Cypher from Wolves is not giving anything to Sentinels, playing very passive around their trip, and then Juicy with this free, essentially, Heaven control, has a fantastic execution.
Even in that moment too, Bang felt like he needed to get out of dodge, back screens. There was so much pressure, so he just had the teleport out and was caught by the spam from Spring, who's at a cool 8-2 right now, 6 rounds into the game. He's been getting pivotal first bloods, some nice multi-kills as well.
Same as previously. Aftershock dark cover just to take that B main control initially. Zekin, though, has been moved to A.
The importance of this round for Sen cannot be understated. This is their economy on the line. You're going to assume they'll probably be using the Seekers at some point to win this out if they can. This would be worth 2 for Wolves. Oh, 1 second! He can't even get away in time!
YU Anko, too sharp, and straight away we're into the site. Showstopper pop to clear it. Good peek in there from John. Gets down Ramson, at least extracts Spring. A big issue for Sen so far, but Juicy's playing up close here, and Narrate cannot win the fight against Silfat. John wants to get there. Oh, they're waiting for him. Juicy sat there and tells us down to a boombot. Okay, it's on Bang. It's doable. Fake TP now, try and pull the wool over Wolves' eyes, but they're looking for him. YU with the cam, that has to be cleared.
That's going to give away Bang's position. Crucial for Wolves. They can double up, try to face this elbow.
On the angle, it would be Silfat taking a solo fight. Bang just gets ahead of it. He says, "You're not coming to me? I guess I'm coming to you." 5 bullets in the chamber and he wins it out. Well, that one could have gone either way. That's got Jordan on his feet. Some confidence maybe for Sen now.
Must win round. Economy was hanging in the balance. Imagine Wolves win that round war through. They get to 7 already on split attack. Major deficit that Sen would have had to overcome. Zekin is just, wow. He's in disbelief at how quick that was.
It's a tight angle to be fair.
Last player.
What's else to say here? Falling the wrong way of the boombot.
You can see Sen there, we're trying to flood back in again. That should be their forte with this comp. They have so many flashes to get out through the smokes, but Wolves have fantastic positioning to deny the players like John, who's pooling out of heaven.
Vipers pit towards mid. Sen have really given up this part of the map in the last couple of rounds. This time, though, they stake their claim. Not again. Zelsa's having to play through that part of the map with the judge. Bang has the gap in the poison orb here, but Spring is very much aware of it. And damn, tears strips off him.
He is so good, man. Spring is a menace right now.
But now a break in the action as Wolves look to concentrate over towards this A side of the map where it's really only John in attendance.
Yeah, currently just jiggle peeking.
I saw it.
They're going to send out that flash, perhaps for additional info, but no, isn't going to do so. Just wants to play off Narrate, who's now jump spotting the cross.
John here with a bit of spray. Lysor takes a glancing blow. Okay, looks like that fault line does connect. Slows Wolves up further again. We're heading to the 30-second mark in the round, but they begin to have it once more. The timing! John! At least he's
Wait, was a self-stun?
He's got to fight his way out of the corner, but he can't. Caught by the C's. Narrate, though, plants his feet. Sees the double swing coming in, but he's good for it!
Spike down A.
And Asilfat stuck in screens. Spike too far away to recover. Sen looking like they
10
can carry
seconds
3
left.
rifles out of the round. Bang won't give him more than that. Wolves, they bleed the clock a lot. 30-second mark, they go for it and they fizzle as they try and hit A.
And again, they're able to get 3 players over to that A site in time. Juicy gets a lovely first kill onto Zekin. I think that was John got one while still up. Yeah, he does. That is so important from John. After getting self-stunned by the close-range Trailblazer.
Look at
There,
this.
then. That is a beautiful
Spike
little
down
transfer.
A.
When Lysor tries to double swing.
That puts a Rolling Thunder online here for Sentinels. Now, last round they had the Viper's pick to take that mid control. This time, not an option.
Second's actually picked up the Outlaw into this round. Multiple players that could be one shot.
Horn cleared, there's the Poison Orb blooming in mid.
And this time it's actually Bang who's up really deep in B main. Typically it has been Zekin.
Silfat's down to 10. He took a hit from that Outlaw. Zelsa's backs away into ropes. You can see Zekin now has found himself elsewhere. This is hot and heavy stuff through mid, and Juicy's able to bring Zelsa's down.
What a double swing. That was excellent from Wolves.
Now I see a push here out of B main. But Spring is playing so passively, so safe, and Bang can't get a look at him. Instead, tries to sneak up and has an off-angle to play with now. He's into Ramen.
Oh, a little bit of damage. Why you? But I mean, ambitious to be fighting that with the classic brother. Wolves have gotten their way into the B site though, knowing it's vacant due to Bang having
Spike
pushed out the
planted.
other player going down. John concerned, clearing out heaven. Try from Lysor, but center good for 2. Everything on the very low HP Sufat.
Scrappy round, considering Wolves didn't really have a full buy to work with. Sufat with 10 health. You can't waste it.
Red Bull clutch! Impossible clutch! No HP! Just the Sheriff! The trade wasn't fast enough from Sen. They cannot be losing that.
He took an Outlaw hit at the start of the round. With the Sheriff, he proved that the town ain't big enough for the 2 of them. Or 3 in that case. Unbelievable. It's barely checked for.
He ate that Outlaw shot earlier. One of the only players that actually had full armor. I think there were 2 for Wolves.
Yeah, that's a stand-up. That's a stand-up.
Even the little bicep flex. Did you see me in the gym earlier? No,
That was Forsaken.
Look at it down there. Yeah, Forsaken. That boy's looking shredded, not gonna lie.
I mean, you have got to call your timeout here. This is the second Sentinels timeout for the map. Called in round number 10. Kaplan very adamantly trying to assert himself here. As that really should have been a Sen round, dead to rights.
6-3 Wolves memimpin.
You didn't know which one you're gonna get, but we got Wolves
My eyes
at their finest to open up this game.
Spring actually wants to challenge the smoke here.
It's playing off that wall. Earlier was very passive when this dark cover was up.
He has to suspect that maybe the Ori's got tucked there in B main. We'll check back in on that story.
Paranoia is going to keep Juicy at bay, but Bang still feels like he needs to give up a fair amount of that space. Center making a multi-man pivot towards this A site. I mean, typically when noise had been made there, Wolves are just hard committing. You know, they had a couple rotates to Mibr, but that was like 20 seconds left. Sen have typically had a great read on these situations.
Once again, Wolves using every second of the round to explore the map, and Juicy explores the inside. Banks Cranium, what? He just takes the fights and wins them. That severely reduces Sen's presence on A. Even John peels off from screens maybe to go back around, but it's a heaven fight brewing. Celsius seems to know it. It's a really laboured pick there from Lysol that allows Celsius to find his own too.
He knows the only way back in the round. Playing a weird off angle second.
Finally wins that fight, Wyatt.
Spring has been so dangerous towards B.
30 seconds left.
Cam cleared. Looks like the move is over towards ropes here for Wolves. Sen have all pulled back to the B side.
A site is going to be completely open. Juicy, with all of the kills he's been finding, has the showstopper active. That could be the crux of a round win. In fact, look at his position. He's pushing all the way through screens right now. He wants to take an early fight. This dimensional shift. That's going to spot him out. I mean, this is a must-win right now for Sen. Look at their economy. Has to be committed.
Okay, Juicy can't gun down another brace of two this time, and out. But the dimensional drift comes second. He is handled. YU is ready for the clone. Here's the double swing now through elbow. He's low. And the roar of attrition, one out by Sentinels. Gets him within a 2-round striking distance. Boy, they've had to fight tooth and nail for every single one of these rounds.
Celsius is simply the hero of this round. Juicy winning 2 isolated 1v1s. And Celsius knows someone has to be the guy to save this round. I might as well do it. I'm just going to play a weird off angle when they push up into heaven. I just have to get a multiple. That's the only way back in, and he pulls it off.
Round 11 coming at you. That showstopper still there for Juicy. Rolling Thunder for Narrate.
Hell of a lot of ults right now for Wolves. They've got that showstopper to get into a site or even one away from the Nightfall and then throw down that pit to close things out in the post plant.
Narrate here just looking to play up that fault line in case there's a faster hit in towards B main. Oh, spring caught. Second sees it. Nice little 1-2 punch, but quickly Juicy activates over at the A side, and John QT is blown to smithereens. Bang was hoping to find Sufat there, but the Crowler comes out instead. And Lysor is a little bit out of steam.
He is so overextended and caught. If Sufat can get this spike down, he's going to have the Nightfall. That could be enough to turn the tide, despite being at a man disadvantage right now for Wolves.
Dural theft there for YU. Gatecrest sent across to the A side now. It's going to be Juicy sat in elbow.
They have slowed things down, not trying to commit to the plan at the moment.
What is the plan supposed to be? Sufan obviously spike carrier. He's inching forward.
This has been enough time for Narrate's fault line to actually cycle back up. So when the spike does eventually get tapped, there's even more util for Sen to flood in off of.
Okay, I think Sen still confirmed though that Wolves are staying here. Here's the Rolling Thunder. This could get ugly. YU on Rafter finds one, but second trades it instantly. Cancel from the shadows. They're least on the off angle. They're not checking it. Bang's having a salvage now for the 1 versus 1. No blood yet. He's caught with a util out.
There's just no way they should be winning this round. There is just no way. Sen man advantage, massive util advantage. Wolves slow down the game. Less time when they actually have to get the spike down, where Sen can exploit that by flooding in, pressuring so hard. They just don't check that corner. They don't think he can be tucked.
I definitely think there's some overheating going on in the Sen camp now, and there's no more opportunities for Kaplan to intercede.
That looks like a bit of frustration coming out from Narrate late in this half.
Attempt. Bang goes to take that 1 versus 1.
Look at the buy now from Sen, their last chance to get around on split defense. Only 4 to their name before the side swap.
And this time there's a lot more presence in B main. Zekin had to be ready in the double swing, catches him off guard. Narrate peels off the line, doesn't want to handle it.
Wolves, in this round, they say, all right, Spring, you're starting to have a little trouble. Let's get you some backup, stack up with multiple players. This time, we're going to overwhelm Sen, who have been happy to fight for that space to find the opening pick. Love that decision from Wolves.
Bang is tentatively looking to retake this ropes position. And all of Sen are grouped up. 3 down mid. The Wolves are pretty diligently trying to clear their way into B, but this will take some time. This will buy some time for the flanking troop of Sentinels to wrap around. It's being watched for by YU though. Better weapon. No stingers are not going to hit hard enough at that range. Now the Nightfall over to the B site. Nobody here for Sen. They've all peeled off. There's more on the flank. Why are you checking for it where the camera sees it all? Paranoia comes in but only catches onto the Cypher. There's a real fight here in B main. And Wolves slap Sentinels down. Narrator's just had to jump into the pit. No other choice for it. He gets rid of it though with Spring falling. That's the Viper out of the way. Now Narrate can heal back up, but Juicy's waiting for him. It's a 8-4.
Jadi tadi halftime berhasil didapatkan oleh Wolf, berhasil unggul atas Sentinel. Masih halftime, belum full time ya guys ya. Jadi keduanya juga harus sama-sama fokus gitu.
When they're hitting though, like they are today, individually are so sick. I mean, Juicy, Sufan, Spring are putting on a show. The 1v1s, the raw duels are just going the way of Wolves right now. Sen need to wake up.
Lysol gets first contact here at B. This is going to draw Sufan over towards that side of the map through spawn, but Sen from committed.
Waiting right now to just play off of this fault line. Dark cover is going to get thrown down B main by Lysar over there on B, who's stacked up with Sufan. Prowler Replayer is going to get some information onto Bang. Sen just slowly taking their time, posturing up. It's looking like an oncoming B split.
That smoke indicates potential ropes control, but Sen do not have the players on that A side of the map. Definitely going to see them pivot here. And they're trying to cut off Rafters with that smoke to maybe take Heaven control. He's a Paranoia that collects cleanly on a Spring. Juicy though playing from within the smoke, deals with Zelsis. And there's a way for Zekin to really get past that, but Sufat trying to hold on the site. He's dug out easily. Zekin has that Rafters control, and low as he is, Sentinels have been able to clear Wolves. Player advantage now, Spike to go down.
Let's see what Spring can do. Working his way into heaven slowly, has to wait for this dark cover to fade.
Peers down ropes, doesn't see anything. Wyu decides this is the time to activate from the defender side. Spawn, Spring wins the duel. That's Beacon. Wyu do it as well. They can. It's down to 8. Has a flash to work with. Lets it go. It's a matter of playing time, something that Sen couldn't do in that first half when it needed to happen. And now it's ring around the rosy, folks, but now we're going to see them clash, and it's a right click for Narrates. Gives Sen the staging ground on this attack side they were sorely needing.
Desperately for Sen to get back into this game. Get things started right in this second half after not being able to get anything started in the first. And it looked like even here, they were about to once again succumb to the aim of these Wolves players. Spring isolated 1v1 taken against Bang. Gets the adjustment.
Juicy didn't realize there were 2 players in that heaven smoke. Zekin slipped the net and was able to pick Sufat off on the site. Anti-eco now for Sentinels. Phantom for John.
And this is just full 5 classic save here for the Wolves team, so Sen shouldn't be succumbing to too much damage here, ideally.
Trying to get those orbs into Zekin's hands, though. Get those dimensional drifts rolling early.
Yeah, that is the name of the game when you're running Yoru. That has been one of, if not the most relevant meta ults this entire year. Round defining.
My camera is
Laborious, but the cam is cleared. Sentinels crossing to take that heaven control, but as we speak, Wolves are coming up from ropes. Spraying through the smoke, Zekin, much to his chagrin, takes some damage and is seized in place. He's able to get at least far enough away from the snake bite, and even a paint shell is committed by Wolves. That's a lot of util drawn out.
Good little combo. Who's close to getting one. Zelsis is in the meantime. He has just been slow getting into this site, and he's calling for the rest of the team to pivot over now.
Is this an overpush?
Free? No. Almost, but superior weapon comes out. Almost, but superior weapon comes out on top.
Great mid-smoke here, might be a flash out of it. Sufat's going to have to face them down, but Zekin's going to be there with a stinger. Juicy from the smoke, they emerge, and Zekin will dispatch them. Just Wyu now, who is outfoxing Zekin. But all things considered, pretty clean anti-eco for Sen, gets the 6.
And it gets Zekin just 1 orb away from the dimensional drift, so they can play to that as a win con now on this bonus. Give Wolves a taste of their own medicine for how they were able to open the game, how they were able to get up in such a significant lead early. A bonus round win here should effectively tie things up, would be worth 2.
Nice pivot there from Sen. With that mid-control smoke to ropes and then face Wolves as they try and push out.
You see in that moment what we're going to be seeing a lot of on this attack side, which is just an infinite amount of flashes to pop out of these smokes as a team from Sen.
Bonus hit for Sen to see Zekin with a stinger in hand. John checks Heaven and is very lightly held. Wolves have a player in ropes, one just entering that part of the map. Sufat looks to re-clear.
Sufat's actually swinging out. Does have to back away, does have to give that space up. Sen are getting very active right now in Heaven. A lot of control. Wolves pivoting multiple players back. Side to anchor, Spring, crucial 1v1.
Interestingly, Wolves playing around this smoke, not looking to get entrenched in elbow, just want to play forward. Spring pops his head up and it's whack-a-mole for John. Okay, the double swing. The stinger gets some value though, and Narrate's able to hold it down from ramp. This just leaves Sufat in screens, and Wyu, with these rifles, this 4x for Wolves, have to untangle this round, but Sen are giving them nothing, Wyatt.
Unfortunately, this round is displaying what has been a major issue for Wolves defensively on this map. They'll get in positions to flood, but there will be too many isolated duels. Things will get a little disconnected. You had 2 players on site in that smoke, but they didn't pop out at the same time that Spring was swinging open in Heaven. He just goes down on his own in this moment to John. There are 2 players to his right, but there's no one to swing out to help because it's just not coordinated on that timing. And this is going to get Sen an opportunity to tie the game 8-8. This is really my goal for Wolves coming into this map.
There's no initial anchoring presence on that site for Wolves either. They had to awkwardly filter in as Heaven's been taken. Spring passive hold in mid. Nice is awkward now. No one to swing off that line, and we are caught in the aftershock. Narrate guarantees that easy kill. 3 players with Sheriffs is all that Wolves have to their name.
This is great for Sen to have this level of momentum coming into the second half. Their economy is absolutely rolling. Unlikely that Wolves will be able to get any damage off some, I don't know, maybe 1 kill if Sufak can get a nice little jiggle peek here, but this is going to put Sen ahead by a significant margin and apply so much pressure to each of these buy rounds that Wolves are going to have. Subsequent rounds.
Well, death and taxes. Sufak's able to find his one. But it doesn't really change the fact that Sen are crawling over this A site like a kicked anthill. And there are only 2 Sheriffs for Wolves to try and extract them. Sufak doubles back here. Prowler down ramp. There's no one there. Sen are just entrenched on this A site, ready to fight for it.
Just have the Wolves players ready to play for exits, see if they can't take one of these guns away.
I still got a rifle. Pick up Zel's fallen weapon, presumably.
One of the 20 flashes they have to take a peek. Ooh, there's number 19.
Oh, I love that foul line. Just to set a crossing, making sure no one can peer in. Lysor never had an opportunity to take a fight, but he will be allowed to walk away with this rifle. However, Sen City have evened up this game, folks. On a run after winning the pistol in the second half. And Wolves starting to whimper a little in that round.
And Sen have more than a real opportunity to extend this run to 5 rounds straight. Given the ultimates that they have when we get out of this timeout that's being called by Wolves. A pivotal round in the game. This is 3 round coming up where Sen can outright win. They have a Rolling Thunder and a Dimensional Drift. Wolves have nothing to lose in the ult department outside of a neural theft, and obviously that is a one-sided match when we're talking about the ult economy.
Let's get this shit.
The Bishop of Sen City.
Yeah, more about it.
Wolves are going to need to tighten up their floods right now. They're going to have to be able to absorb this Sentinels utility when it's coming into the site, not drop players anchoring. There's too much initiator util. There are too many flashes to play around. The ults are going to be too much to play around. They're going to need to find
Dimensional Drift. Zek's eating those orbs.
Zek's going to get all of this info and then can get away to be main if he needs to. This is why you genuinely want to fight this. He needs to get out of here right now. He's going back in to fight Zekin. This is mental.
Bone thrown out. Waiyu is going to be in trouble. Just set up on all sides. No escape. Spring tries to help him out, bail him out. He gives himself up as well. This is the rifle round for Wolves. And they're at such a massive disadvantage already.
My ult's ready.
It's just disjointed. They're not operating as a full team in that moment. Waiyu makes too reckless of a decision trying to get back in there. He's going to get overwhelmed and does. Now, at best, maybe goes 1 for 1. And then Spring feels like he needs to come in to help, but no one else is on the rotate over just yet. They were trying to pivot over mostly from that A side, not close to assist. Pretty devastating. At least for Wolves with this save, they'll have an opportunity for redemption on this next round. Not a blowout, not going to have to eco, not allow Sen to get to 10 with ease. But they are truly in the danger zone. They are still staring down the barrel of that Rolling Thunder from Narrate, and now John has the Seekers. Just a streamline of ultimates from Sen to get advantages in all of these important gun rounds.
And for Sen, that's such a cost-effective round win where they just commit the Dimensional Drift. They realize that Waiyu is still on that B site. They set a 4-line up for Zekin to fight him. Waiyu decides
he wants to double back. But now that animated-looking Wolves squad really just buoyed forward by that momentum from some of their individual plays have gone quiet, have gone off the boil. What can they manufacture here? Still a buy for them, in fairness. 2 half armors, but reasonable arsenal, all things considered.
Sen posted up right now for that ramp take. As you can see, Nere ready with the fault line. It's sword, but it's just spammed through.
Juicy here, the only player occupying heaven right now. That TP sound cue for him just makes him uncomfortable, forces him down. Spring will be there on the top of Bro.
The aftershock, able to dodge it, and Lysor catches out Bang to even things up. Juicy is a wild player.
And that is just spray through the walls from both teams. Live by the sword, Bang, die by the sword as well.
Sen are going for the noise cut right now. And you still just have, it's this duo, Zelsis and Zekken, who are working the map together on so many of these rounds, trying to contact up, take this space.
There's no way Spring
is just...
Oh, wait, the timing? He's turned! Zekken brings him up! Why are you the sole player over the B side of the map? And this is going to get a bit hairy for him. Does he choose to try and fight, to commit to this engagement? Got a trap wire on the side. Cam also set up. He's going to play close under rafters, but he is overrun by the double swing.
30 seconds left.
Juicy ascending with bleed, fighting through tier 2 to make it back onto this team when it wasn't a spot for him in Pacific. He's going to go looking via Ramen.
Had to wait years to get this opportunity. Has a rifle right now. Can he be the hero?
Surely not another save for Wolves. They're starting to get a little bit desperate.
But already the time has just dropped so low for them.
They're giving it up.
Damage doesn't even matter. Look at the state of Sen's economy. Multiple players on 8K.
And honestly, this run of rounds, devastating. That is 6 rounds in a row for Sentinels. Now starting to put the timer on Wolves, threatening to close the game out. With the 2-gun save, though, they can definitely distribute enough around to keep themselves well armed. But there's a rolling thunder still waiting in the wings for Sen to make use of. And yeah, can see it now. They've shaken those jitters off.
These late anchor attempts just continue to get overwhelmed entirely.
Oh,
Sen players.
Just a glimpse of them through that wall, and Bang is... I mean, that boy don't miss. Sheesh.
Catch on the Spring is so unfortunate. Almost had the turn. But Zekken had already gone to the close road.
It's a goal!
Wolves calling their second timeout now of the game. As things have completely gotten out of hand. 6-round run. To send 2 aggro. It's a little too much anchoring attempt against this comp from Sen that is too overwhelming on the execs. Feels like they gotta play for something. Aggro early, take some space, find some picks, or tighten up those floods, play for that as a win con, especially if they're able to get this Nightfall somewhere for Sufat.
Full armor for Wolves. A very respectable buy, all things considered. Maybe a little neutral light, but that is fine.
And they have actually opted to just give up this B site. They have a kill trip set up that
What is Spring?
Why was hoping to just get a spam kill from.
The Spring wants to fight even rafters. What is that? Unhinged from Spring.
Oh, desperate from Spring to try and get something done.
But he's on his own. We talked about this. Out of the open, trying to take a duel as a Viper. Here's that attack side Viper's pit. Lysor trying to get busy now. No Zekken is in the corner, but the shorty comes calling. With the pride of New Jersey, will have his power to flash. Juicy dropping down. Pit still active, of course. Juicy trying to disrupt.
One more kill and he'd actually get the showstopper.
And that will be perfect against this Viper's pit. Can he find it safely? They're on a clock. 2 players left here for Wolves. Losing this round will banish them to the economic doldrums, and John waits patiently for his prey. Juicy serves it up. Sufat has to walk away now. Maybe an exit or so. There's no stopping the Sen economy. It is absolutely booming. Sufat will do what he can. On the rope, Celsius, an homage to his mate Arsena, I'm sure. That's Sen with 3 rounds in the lead, and we're out of our seats once more.
It looked like Wolves had the right approach there. They were just playing off of a kill trip. They give up the site, allow the stack on A. So if Sen do hit A, they've got 3 players there ready to go. And then, when necessary, we'll move over, pivot into a flood, or just go for a full retake. Either one would have been highly recommended over that disjointed effort they came through. So unfortunate. This is it for Wolves. Full investment, 4 ultimates on the board.
Decided to ungive it up. We all know how that went. Prowler into B main, they're clearing it. Spring pops that poison orb now, probably has a feeling of quite a few players here. Is that Snakebite quick enough? Bang gets ahead of much of this util now. And there's the Nightfall. Gonna reveal his location.
Would have been a lot of trouble. This Prowler fully spotting him out. Spring is steadfast right now. Just has not been able to get started on this defensive side. Wants to go for the peak. Can he actually catch the timing right now?
No one in heaven to be affected by that.
That's the spike down.
Push from Spring. Bang. Just gets the spike, gets out, but he knows he's going to be pursued. YU from the low ground's not able to win it out. And here's a showstopper from Juicy. Where does this one go? Unfortunately, into the rafters. No connection. Zek and Gate crash into the back of the site. The spike, though, is loose out in the middle of B.
Spring right now trying to get back in. That distraction from the showstopper was enough for Sufat to get them that man advantage. 25 seconds right now. The spike is down in the site. Sentinels have to fully commit. This is the best opportunity Wolves have had.
Dangerous double swing. Yep, that's got to be double held that angle that Zek goes into. Narrate tried to set him up with a forward line, and now it's down to Zelsus in the dying seconds of the round, but he's hit with the paranoia.
10 seconds
Nearsighted, player in heaven. One on boxes and Sufat towards his left. It is a ridiculous stacked deck against him. And so Wolves finally dig their heels in. They waited a long time for this round, their first of the half.
They can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, but they were finally able to get on the board here. Finally able to make some adjustments. Spring biding his time in vents. Sen not expecting him to pop out so late. Catches that first kill, and then they do flood back into the site. They are playing together. Juicy gets that great showstopper. He didn't actually get a kill, but he was a hell of a distraction for the Anchors to be able to pick up those players that were on site to find the advantage. Wolves are back in the game, but Sen still have too much cash.
Sees here, Bang. Has the TP away from it. It was a fault line that directly connected with Juicy, but his team's util bailed him out.
Again, I like this from Wolves out of that previous timeout. It was called by Coach Fade. They're stacking up towards A, allowing B just to be played for passive kill trips. If Sen do go towards this site, they're going to be running into so many players.
Trailblazer goes up ramps here. Sen still haven't taken much control of the A side, but up mid they're starting to poke and prod.
Second did teleport away to meet up with the rest of the pack. The entire Sen team are about to be in mid right now. Spring could be in some danger here. He's tucked in a corner. He can't get out to the left side. Now could with the dark cover placed.
Gonna let them cross mid. Mostly undetected. See, Wolves now starting to forge ahead for a bit of information. That re-clear of B as main was too early.
Yeah, that was some false info. Wait, I mean, they do still have 3 players here, though. Actually, Wolves, they had not departed from this site.
The cam's there as well. YU likely able to spot Sentinels out of here. They come. Viper's Pit used defensively to try to stop them in their tracks. For Zekin, Gate crashes onto the site. Spring inside the Viper's Pit. We have a TP by Bang to the back of the site. He clears a trap wire though, so has to give himself away. And it's getting messy in the Viper's Pit. The spray is there. Bang's able to bring Juicy down. Now 3 up for Wolves still. With the Viper's Pit, they slow Sen down to a crawl.
Great read on the situation. Even after that Prowler that gave false info, they stayed committed into that site with multiple players. Sufat ready for the teleport back from Zekin. It didn't end up paying off, but that little kill trip back there is also to deal with Zekin. If he just runs forward, he's caught, because that is your standard gate crash location from the Ori. Get in deep while the rest of the team come out main, but they couldn't. They were cut off by that pit. Perfect timing from Spring. The past 2 rounds, he is getting involved on this defensive half after being just going cold for that early Sen run.
Now this is getting interesting. 1 round in the game, both teams with full buys.
And the Sentinels' economy is actually being depleted at this point. At one point, having 3 players with 8+ K.
Spring here sees the clone come in. Paranoia hit.
The
Bang's gonna try and walk away. He gets
Oh
TP out.
my god!
Great little combo again.
The reaction from Bang was so fast there. All right, pressure onto Lifesword. Backside has to go off.
Flashed. Fault line doesn't quite hit him. Lifesword trying to
can't
connect. It's missed it. What a whiff. Here though, the control from screens is good, and Zek is out in the open. John able to find Juicy at the very least, and now they've evened up the odds. YU tentative about playing from rafters. The spike though still off the A side. Zelsis though is in there.
That neural theft getting some serious value for a Wolves game, slowing down right now. Sentinels want to see if they're going to peek out on Zelsis. It's all on YU 1 versus 2, as Sentinels are going to get a match point. We saw Bang win a clutch in this exact same situation in that first half. Can YU do the same?
He's going natty. None of that side for Util is here on A.
30 seconds
Nothing but that
left.
raw gun skill. Instead of trying to draw him out, tapping the spike. Still 23 seconds left of the round. And YU has been ever so patient. John sticks it for real though.
Planted.
Now Zelsis and John grouped up here. Looks like Zelsis should be watching this line, and YU swings it! 1 round away from a map win for Sentinels. And the vibes are looking pretty good.
John and Zelsis just watching each other's backs, trying to bait out that swing. Love the way they play that. It was looking so good for Wolves when they had that double face coming from screens. Juicy comes out of heaven. But it's that additional swing where John finds that kill to make it a 2 versus 2 that puts him in a winnable position. The IGL, they're stepping up for Sen when necessary. Wolves are in the right place at the right time again, but Sen come out on top. Match point, opportunity to steal away Wolves' pick.
And a dimensional drift to start the round for second, but Spring's already found something. Zelsis straight down mid.
I think that was just spam down mid.
This time he gets in the back of the site. There's no trip here to stop Zekin though, so Sen have this big control. Prowler thrown out once again. Bang has to TP away. And it's Narrate with the spike in hand. They've got to be concerned about this heaven control. Wolves have 3 players up there, and the Seekers are going to confirm this largely.
John wants to go for the reflank. The mid is actually tripped right now. That one-way trip is still, or one-way unbreakable rather, is still up there, so he's going to have to deal with that.
Okay, Juicy flies in, the judge! Zekin's able to trade it out. Gate crash now to a safer position. Bang is still on the side. Zekin runs into Lice.
John is coming on the flank, but Zekin is going off!
Just John now.
They know he should be here. He had to break the trip.
The timing, John's going to commit to the site. Spring down through the smoke. Still fat on the other side of the dark cover. John, very, very low, but he's buying time.
He got it to half. There's no way. There's just no way he can stick it.
Seal Fat saves the map for Wolves. Gets it to half. Then knows that John can only give him a tickle of the avian variety. Just throws a flash in, and that's all he can muster.
He's been the IGL team leader and clutch merchant for Wolves. Both halves winning critical rounds. Juicy just goes 1 for 1, but what a distraction for the rest of the team to get back in. And the fact that mid was tripped, John just couldn't actually accelerate to help these guys. Second almost came up with that multi-kill.
And now it's awkward for Sens. 2 stingers to their name.
And now that we've just gotten into this retake, better flood territory, Wolves are wrangling this game back. Multiple stingers for Sen.
But a couple Guardians for Wolves. Neither team are comfortable economically.
Wolves are a couple orbs away here from critical ultimates. Nightfall, Showstopper. Only requiring 1 each.
Do they dare push up for that? There's no way. Why are you anchored on the site? We'll have Juicy on rafters early. This might be signaling an A split through rope here by Sentinels. Trip cleared. Clone gonna eat it up now. How do you respond to the defenders?
At the moment, Wolves are posturing towards B heaven. That's actually going to be a teleport to get info in A main and a cancel. But John,
It's false info.
a bit far back, as is Zelsis. This hasn't called for any adjustment in the Wolves' positioning. Here comes this breach utility, guys. We're definitely pivoting into B. I swear.
He's selling it.
I swear we're going B.
The right even gives up a bit of his health in order to sell, and he does keep Juicy interested at B for now. Heaven control for Sentinels.
Okay, crash deep from second. Fake teleport.
Bang caught in the seas, but will heal back up after the decay. Silfat here. Oh, Spring wants to take a fight characteristically. He also flubs the shot. Sen running over this A site. 10 seconds left for a spike plant, though. It's going to happen soon. Here's second into the fault line.
Juicy has the showstopper. Oh, but he goes down.
There it is, folks. John runs wide you down and Sen after a paltry.
Dan ya, map pertama bukan map sih, lebih tepatnya game 1, map 1. Sentinel berhasil membalikkan skor yang awalnya mereka ketinggalan menjadi 13-11. Pada beberapa klip, beberapa momen ketika Zelsis menyapa lawannya, menyapa gitu. Oke, kita break sejenak sebelum kita lanjut ke game yang kedua.
that you expected when you saw the Asian select?
To a certain extent, right? The Teo, the Sky both give some information. I mean, Sky is actually even better in terms of the info, but I think that what we were seeing a lot from John was more sort of set up for his teammates to go into sight with the flashes. There were a lot of rounds where Narrate was actually banking flashes deep into the rounds, and it was him comboing with the stun to go into the sights, and it was just so many of these 5-player hits that John just kept calling over and over to win on the exec game.
And I think that's a great read from him as an IGL, understanding the win conditions of their composition, because Wolves on their side, very slow game plan, very contacty.
Yeah.
Sentinels, IGL, like John, completely understanding that they need to have very tight executes, and the ults especially, the ult rounds were just beautiful.
The ults were a consistent winning factor for Sentinels, because in that second half, they're down 8-4. It's looking grim for them, right? But winning pistol, winning the bonus, that sets them up to get their ults online first. And then, because they start winning these rounds with their ultimate so quickly on the 5-player execs John was calling, you have so many situations where the Fade and the Rays from Wolves are saving on those players, not getting their ults online. It wasn't until round 21 that they had a Fade or Rays ult. They win that one and make it close.
Yeah, as we move on to the next map of Pearl, this is where our questions go towards the side of Narray. What is he going to play? Not Pearl, sorry, I trolled. Lotus even.
Lotus, there we go.
I wish it was Pearl. It would have been fun between these two teams. But for Lotus, what does Narray do here? You know, Sky, probably not. Probably not, right, Mel?
Yeah, and I think that's something from Wolves' perspective, it's kind of hard to prep for. I mean, already the first match that you're playing at Masters Toronto, you're already going in blind considering the map pool changes and the patch changes, but especially when you're dealing with a team like Sentinels where several players in the team can play Initiator, it's very hard to predict what's going to happen and who's playing what.
Yeah, honestly, I'm expecting to see some Fade coming online. I think Fade's so strong on this map, and if it's plug and play, Sky is a split map, or Split's a Sky map, Lotus is a Fade map.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what we're going to get in terms of comps. But for now, let's send it back to Jen and see what Coach Fade had to say ahead of map 2.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with Coach Fade. Now Fade, split did not go your way, but the potential was definitely there. So what do you think you guys need to do on Lotus to take it to map 3?
I think we have to clean up some nerves in our own team, and we had a lot of miscommunication earlier during the second half especially. So once we get that sorted, I think we will be fine on second map and third map.
Alright, thank you and good luck on Lotus.
I think we saw some of those nerves that he was talking about, but that IGL, Sufa, I didn't think he was nervous at all. He was hitting his shots. The Fade didn't look too bad. Right, it happened, almost happened twice as well. But Mel, he usually plays the Tejo here on Lotus. What do you think he's going to play this time?
I'm curious to know as well, because I'm not really sure. Because I think a lot of it, to go back to what he was saying about the nerves, I think is probably the most important thing, because on defense, I actually thought that Wolves could have gone away with that 10-2.
Honestly.
They had a lot of advantages, and Sentinels as well on the defense. Historically, they op a lot on the defense on split, and notably, this is the first time I've really seen them not bring it out, and that is a very intentional choice, and Kaplan even touched on it, saying, I think some of our defense game plans didn't perfectly go through, so a lot of it, I feel like, does come down to Wolves. Can you capitalize on the mistakes and the flaws in their game plan? Can you pull up? Can you actually meet the pressure? And I think the nerves is a big part of that.
And especially looking at Lotus, a map that's all about these sort of opening skirmishes, fights for rubble, fight for sand control. Both these teams love to show a lot of utility early on in rounds. It's going to be looking at guys like Zek, and it's going to be looking at guys like Juicy to find those opening kills to get the advantage for their team.
We are just moments away from Agent Select. Sufa here, you can see him giving his team a bit of a pep talk. He's definitely being one of the more animated one, carrying them through the emotions, through the vibes, going toe-to-toe against Zelsis of all people.
Hard.
Very
hard.
Very impressive. I definitely want to see what they're going to do moving away from that Tejo as we move on to Lotus.
Yeah,
Map 2 akan mulai di Lotus. Masuk dalam fase pemilihan agent.
question.
I can answer that in just a moment, but on Lotus, he has played it like one time here and there. But like you said, not something that we see very often. But what about this Vice?
From Zelsis, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Zelsis could make a great fade here, or not fade, excuse me, a great Vice here. His anchoring has looked phenomenal as well, so nothing too crazy for me. I'm expecting greatness from him on the Vice.
Yeah, honestly, Vice with a double smoke to back it up is really hard to break through on a defensive.
Dan ini dia agent yang akan dibawakan oleh kedua tim, yaitu Sentinel dan Wolves Esports. Sentinel akan bukan agent Viper, Race Vice Omen juga Fit. Sementara Wolves akan bukan agent Killjoy Omen. Apa tadi? Killjoy Omen Fit, Race dan juga Viper. Kalau dilihat yang bedakan hanya Vice dengan Killjoy-nya saja. Dan memang untuk map dari Lotus, ya agent yang terbaik untuk role Sentinelnya adalah Killjoy, Vice, kalau enggak Cypher gitu.
Lysord knows he can get a free plant, but no one's really in position to take any further positioning.
Spring threw up a Viper wall that allowed the 3 Sen players to get into Baby Door for a 3v1 against Lysord to start that retake.
Yeah, unfortunately, just due to where all the players were and the importance of taking further space towards defenders spawn after getting the spike down on B and C especially, they're just not able to do that because all of the Wolves players are spread across the map. They can only get back to B main and spam, and at a disadvantage. They're just never going to win that. Wolves are going for the force right now. Juicy has the Bucky.
Maybe looking for a more of a close quarters context.
And he's going to make it close quarters with a double satchel.
Yep, here we go. Juicy coming on in. Narrate has to hear this. Oh, Juicy! Well, has his wings clipped as he tries to cross that B site. Already big mound control. Bang pushing up. Has to be aware that B main is where Wolves are currently milling about.
Wolves there displaying for us why the Vice is just so effective on this map. They're going to need to be able to proc that wall so Juicy doesn't end up in situations like that. We know he's going to be double satcheling in deep, but if the rest of the team are cut off by the shear, he's going to get cooked every single time like we just saw.
Eyes towards Baby Door now for Wolves. Narrate. About to have some visitors. It's a 1-for-1. Spike recovered, of course. Sufat now needs to make a decision. They've got that stairs control on A, but he's still fancy B for a moment, and there it just took too long Zelsa's caught a timing on Spring, and now Sufat's got no choice but to go towards the B side, where Zekin will be lying in wait.
30 seconds left.
Again, unfortunately for Wolves, the players are just so separated from each other
Bam.
on individual missions.
Down, B.
And this, what looked like attempt to be the Stinger rush onto the B site, was ultimately just denied by the Sentinel utility, and from there things have slowly collapsed.
10 seconds
Why you left alone, surely going to be going down to second here. Closing out the round in pretty clean fashion for Sen against the buy. So opportunity to get to 3 here now against Wolves early. Get a nice little lead on their own map pick. I like what Kaplan said. It was interesting to hear. And then just on that map, the difference in play from the regions. We're not scrimming against teams like this. It was hard to get our own game plan online because we're just not used to what Wolves are doing.
Because Wolves made that force in round number 2, they've really got so little to work with. And this for Sen is an opportunity to build a massive economy on his defense side.
Of course, that Outlaw still going to be getting value for Zekin as he pushes up and gets space on Rubble with the rest of the team. Wolves are triple-faced on B, hoping that someone from Sentinels will decide to go for a peek. That's not going to be the case right now. Taking it slow, hoping to collect some orbs. I mean, back in the meta of Lotus, when these comps pretty much ran for an entire year, the game was really ult orb dependent. Getting those showstoppers was of the utmost importance.
Wolves get the sheer wall. Only about 6 to 7 seconds before they can circle back to C. That does seem to be the plan, though. Or slowly extract themselves. Fighting for Rubble might be a dangerous proposition for them, but Narrate is the one with the ghost.
I'll find you.
Perhaps an easier target to knock down. Confirms that there's at least one player still here. Bang's going to have to play off of this fade positioning.
Just ready to send out the paranoia off contact. What? Okay. No way. There's just no way. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening.
Now it's going to be on Zekin. A little bit awkward. Outlaw with a ton of targets to find. And Juicy trying to get across with a blast pack. That's 2. He'll fall off the line now. Paint shells to follow up.
Out of charges.
Peaks with the classic. He's bought enough space, though, at least for Sen to get the reinforcements in place, and so they do.
Sufa is so far away right now. He's in B, having to go through B door. Spring is going to need to do even more work with his Sheriff. And it feels wrong that the ask is on him to do more in this round.
Sufat is here. Sentinels now going to make this push up, likely a double swing. John in second here on this line. Celsius with his back to Spring's position.
No.
His head cleaned off. Now 2 left. Second finally shuts down the rampaging Spring.
I'll find you.
But up Spring comes Summer, and Sufat's about to make it hot and heavy. Backs away, no time. Plays it like an absolute champion that is not around. You have any business winning?
That feels impossible and should be impossible. How is that double setup from Sen towards Rubble dismantled? There's no util for Wolves to get out aside from using the wall to get forward. Sees what a shot! And the crosshair placement for Bang, who throws down the dark cover and throws out the paranoia. There's just no way.
1 enemy remaining.
And then after that, Spring, could you actually do some more for us? Could you get another kill?
Sufat plays for time.
Come on.
Expertly in that moment. The second's got no choice but to run at him.
Wow, look at this. Read on the economy from Spring. Outlaw,
My ult is ready.
5 one-shottable targets. Everyone from Sen on lighter regen.
Sen know they've given that weapon over, though. They know they need to play around it. 0 peaks off the C side here.
Wolves do a nice job getting all of the space towards Mound and drawing a bit of attention from Sentinels, even procking the door. Celsius wants to go for some spam in case they are actually trying to get into B main at the moment.
Down to the minute mark in the round. Still nothing drawn out by Sentinels. Nothing really for Spring to look at with this Outlaw.
And this is Sufa just on a solo effort to keep the attention here. He's doing everything. He's throwing prowlers, he's opening the door, he's getting the orb. And there are 3 players mostly drifted towards that area of the map. It's going to be an A re-clear again. Can Bang right the wrongs from that prior round.
Narrate never had to show himself there either. It was awkward, but Narrate last time they were here had only a ghost. This time they're armed to the teeth. YU is able to draw that sheer wall out, but the fight's definitely happening over towards Rubble. Sen back up on it though. 25 seconds left in the round. Wolves have to make a decision.
Oh, they aren't. They're still too indecisive. They're going back towards Mound now. They're in a 2-1-1 with 15 seconds left. The round is just over.
They've got no duelists. They've got no entry on this site.
They can't even get past the thorns that are there. Now they're trying to get into B. This is mad.
Okay, 7 seconds left and they're going to go for it. Snake bite on the ground. Lysor knows he's going to lose much of his health. And it's Zaki with the showstopper. Brings the house down on Wolves. What a bizarre round. And Wolves bleed the clock a little too much.
The indecision is their enemy there. You have Sufa making that tons of noise over towards C in the mid-round. But Wolves, after losing Juicy on this entry towards A, they just did not want to commit through the dark cover. It's actually going to be an early timeout called right now by Coach Fade, and I am not mad at that. We, in fact, saw at the end of Split, it was his second timeout that got Wolves back in the game. That is when they started to put together some defensive rounds. He gave them the right adjustments to make.
We just take stock of things here, because that's a round that Wolves, they win a ridiculous round in round number 3. They come out with an outlaw. Sentinels are all half-armored, all regen shields. Right? They do not have the ability to tank one of those outlaw hits. And they just give Wolves nothing. Not a thing. Play so safe, and it's eventually that swing on.
Rubble to get on to reminds me of the old MIBR solo skylark on Sunset, you know?
Deep pull, but true. I mean, accurate, but...
Using your initiator to try and sell a fake, though, a lot of that util can be really valuable to gain real map control.
You just see, yeah, because then after Juicy goes down, they're like, we can't really get out of this boat, can we?
There's 2 Razor Vines on C. They have no raise, so they're never going to get on that side. Ugly stuff.
All right, what's the plan for Wolves out of this timeout? They're nearing many ultimates, and expending some to win one of those prior rounds. So when we get to Wolves' full buy, can certainly be the linchpin of a win there. Here, they're hoping it's just going to be one of these 2 hero rifles.
Don playing a bit further forward this time around. Knows that Wolves are honestly less cashed up this time around. See a lot of heads though, and Juicy, man, he is clean with it. His Sheriff's claims the first. Zelsis is seized here, decayed down. There's a window here. Pops the Razor Vine. They can't quite get purchased on him. And Sufat overextends. Spike loose. Lysor, though, is able to at least to salvage. Zekin's going to be here. Spray down's a bit wayward, and Lysor's gotten in onto the C site now. And Zekin's paint shells do not get any value.
Slowly trying to get towards Bend right now. Not comfortable getting the spike down just yet. Narrate has a fair amount of initiator utility to use to get back in, and Bang is on a long flank right now. Will Wolves expect it?
YU checks for it, but can't beat Bang. Paranoia comes in, Lysor and Spring forced to just double up at the bottom of the C site. Bang must have spotted them there with a shoulder peek. Perhaps not, as still eyes are looking towards the bend. There's Spring, just sees a head pop up. That's stunning stuff. Eventually, though, taken down. It's Lysor with less than 50 health to play. Time is of the essence, and Sen are fully cognizant. They'll have themselves their 4th round.
Credit to Bang there, able to win the duel on the flank. That is the highest impact kill in that situation he could possibly find. Then you have the other 2 players being encircled from multiple different angles.
Look at a brute force solution to trying to get Zelsis out of that corner.
I mean, I'm not mad at them fighting it, it's just that they didn't really fight it together. If they both kind of got out and were spraying, they might have just gotten that kill in clean fashion, but they weren't doubled up. Zelsis getting that one was pivotal as well.
Zekin is 8-1. Night and day comparison to his start of his split game. Running it back on the raise after all this time.
We really have not been getting much of the Zekin raise, if at all, this year, but that is his, or was his go-to agent. That's what he was known for, the flex raise play. Here comes Juicy fast into the side. That's a dodge. The arc road shut down.
Right into the Razor Vine as well. Zelsis now wants to assume some more control, but he's likely hoped this TP forward by Lysor. Gives up the site. Play for the retake.
In the meantime, YU did actually find a kill with one of the players from Sen on the cross towards B. Bang teleporting over to assist. This lockdown is going to keep the Sentinels team at bay. Should get Wolves a free plant here.
Yeah, look at, I mean, how much of Paul's this covers. Wolves also pinging the one gap in that. Oh, John, that is stunning. Yes, detained, but there's no chance for Wolves to follow up on this. Spam down through the smoke, finds another one. Here's the Nightfall down from the attack side. Wolves want to try and assume as much control of C as they can. They've even committed a Viper's Pit to that effect.
Yeah, this round is must win. They have to send it all. Why you spam kill?
Ring in the pit, dancing around. Narrate finds him before he decays too low. That's a Viper's Pit now gone. YU and Sufat in this corner. Zelsus and Narrate do not have the util to clear them from this. They're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Spray down through the corner. Zelsus exposed himself to Sufat on the tight angle, and Narrate does not have the health to bail Sentinels out. A hard fought, long sought after second round here for Wolves.
They committed all they needed to, must win round, excuse me, and they are able to take that down. Spring just somehow connects a miracle shot on the second player that was swinging through the pit in that final situation. But a good usage of their alternates, no doubt. YU was crucial on that round too, early. Pretty standard for, you know, your Sentinel position. They're going to be taking a timing on B, waiting in main to hear those footsteps on the cross for someone trying to get over to Waterfall towards C. Little jiggle peek and he wins the duel there. That's just always on your mind when you're a defender and you need to get over to that site.
All right, we have a mild audio issue down here on the stage. So that one will be rectified pretty quickly as headsets are already being replaced. We get Wolves, they spend pretty big in that round, like get those ultimates in play, they make use of them correctly. It's a lockdown that John disrespects. He's playing in halls, he just spams down through that smoke, he's able to find one. But Sentinels are not aware that Sufat's tucked there on bend, right on that spike location. And they just didn't have the utility to dig any of those Wolves players out of position. So very textbook, hit on towards the C side with that raise, double satchel initiator. Now though, without some of those key abilities, can Juicy make use of this showstopper to once again clear that space, maybe force them back into halls on that C side?
Look, I'm certainly looking to Wolves to maybe go for one of the crazy executes here where your Omen uses from the shadows to get behind the defensive team and then you send it at them with a showstopper. Pinch them from both angles. That is a pretty common ult execute on this map.
And Lysor is not above a cheeky little TP to the enemy spawn. So turret here for YU to play contact off of a B. Wolves have been waiting for a push out of B main from Sem, but it's never happened. Not so far in this defense side. They've just been leaving Zek in here, of course, with those paint shells to hold it down.
The only real proactivity coming from Sen is just the double up from Merit and Bang to take rubble control. And to be fair, it has kept Spring at bay. He hasn't had opportunities to be able to lurk up off of his wall, which feels very un-Spring-like. I mean, on Split, he was taking the fight to them all the time. He was that showstopper.
He's waiting on those
but can't do anything.
On the snake bite, couldn't actually cross. Sheer wall did come up, and that's a speculative showstopper that ends up finding nothing. All the util cleared from the C side, though. It looks like Wolves want to double back, Wyatt.
Yeah, they certainly can re-execute off this.
30 seconds
Sufat does have a haunt to throw, clear out an area like Bend, teleport through to make the cross. They want to scale into the site, which is vacant of Sen players, but they are ready to flood back in off the Steel Garden.
Juicy Vizak and Duelists here fighting for that Hall's control. Second opts to wait just a little bit longer here. That Steel Garden off the back of it, John explodes. Zelsus now playing from Waterfall. Lysor left here on the seaside, the last remaining Wolves player. And Zelsus might not be aware. He TP'd out with that ultimate. So now Wolves in a position to play that retake, but Zekin's already got it to half, and Wolves might not be aware of this. Narrate's able to spray them down through the poison orb. Zekin got off of it briefly, but he'll full stick this, and Wolves are none the wiser.
That's just disaster for Wolves. They have to all retreat into Mound after the Steel Garden is used, and the spike just isn't planted for them. The round is just over at that point. Easy, effortless retake for Sentinels.
Spike planted.
That tries to get out.
I mean, what can they do after this situation? Legitimately nothing. It's just over. It is just over for them.
Looked odd, but Wolves probably realized there was no reasonable way to get back in, so wagering those remaining rifles seemed less than ideal. Now a bit of a rubble fight. This time Sen actually aren't playing forward. They've got Bang back in tree.
4 rifles right now for Wolves. Spring just on the pistol, though, unfortunately.
Watch the timing of this paranoia, Wyatt. Sees combo with the paint shells, perhaps. Oh, it's second getting caught out. Narray doesn't have much to see here, and Bang's going to watch his left side. No! Oh, my goodness! Sealfat found a quick double.
That is Sen going for a bit of a haphazard attempt at the refight. Just not expecting, I don't think, so many Wolves players to actually be ready with the crosshairs on those angles. This has been the most convincing round win for Wolves so far, unless John is able to go crazy in that 1v4, but he can. That is shut down by Spring.
That was a half buy. Wolves, I think, had 2 pistols, maybe even classics in that kind of round. And it was one of the rounds where Sen opted not to play forward on Rubble. They didn't have Bang TPing forward at the start of the round and having Narrate watch that live. They opted instead to try and play off a paranoia, and everything kind of went wrong for them in second. Found himself isolated.
Yeah, isolated on that orb, and the rest of the players just tried to spill through the fight together, but Sufa hits a nice little snappy adjustment. Too many players from Wolves posted up to deal with. And look at this. Somehow, Sen, their economy is not very good, which feels bizarre, but this is an opportunity for Wolves to get right back in the game, potentially tie things up, break their eco right here.
Bang can't clear the horn with where he is, so he actually at least consider giving up that Rubble position. Look at a B variation, though, this time from Wolves. But some of the spice util is here.
Which has been an absolute nightmare for them. Second 2 rounds in a row has been instantly deleted by Juicy.
Wait a minute. Are we going to go back towards C here? Zekin's departed. Obviously very early in the round. Drusido's been cleaned up. Spring wants to try and get forward here, but this Nightfall could be a bit of an issue for Wolves. Spike is obviously down. Spring trying to play from upper and cleared out instantly. Sulfat now gives his position away. Enough noise to wake the dead, and Narrate's going to turn around with the Odin. Look to try and spray him out of the game, and this is awkward timing for the fade. Wolves here with a great opener. Sen able to convert on a 4v5 after Zekin falls.
Great opener, essentially a free plant. They have the idea, which is the right idea, of when you're getting the spike down on this map, you have to go take more forward space on B, but they just don't do it together. Juicy is too quick to face here. Zelsis gets an isolated 1v1. There's no trade coming through. Spring is trying to get forward, but he's alone, caught before the dark cover drops. Right idea, wrong execution from Wolves, and some frustration on the face of Fade as things are getting a bit out of control on Sentinels map pick, especially for the defensive side. And when you're talking about these traditional comps, this map was attack favored back when it was in the, in the pool, and this was the meta.
And that's why Sen getting to 6 is a huge deal.
My ult is ready.
Orb taken by Sufet now gets his Nightfall online. Once again, Zekin wants to take an early challenge, but looks like that's been denied. Classic entry over here. Zelsis is 39. Does he think to try and play a one and done in the corner now at this level of health?
Face your fear!
Okay, Boom Bomb going to be thrown in. Dark cover now. Over to Paranoia, excuse me. Forces John back in the Hall's direction. Juicy deals with Zelsis all too easily. There's a nice little tap from John. Happy to challenge this side take util for a kill.
Yeah, now just fully on the retreat. Posted up to try and ensure the Wolves don't push any further. Lysor, danger for a moment, and it's just getting spammed through by Bang. Disaster as Wolves try to wrap around Ben to get that spike down.
Spring's able to recover the spike, but what opportunity, they're going to have to plant it. He tries to surge ahead, draws Zekin out of position, might be a high-low swing, but Zekin tucks. He's not going to give them a free kill here. Wolves are the ones that have to wager something. And Spring, he's got some work to do.
Oh, it's disrespectful from Zekin. It's a little bit whimsical too with the double satchel in. Gets himself one orb away from a showstopper with those kills too, matter of fact. It's just those tracers from Lysor with the Vandal that are spotted out.
And at this point, Zekin just doesn't give them a freebie. Until this point, breaks that crosshair placement. Spring overwhelmed. And that is 7 defense side rounds for Sentinels. There's no way of framing this other than they're at a massive, massive advantage on this map.
Zekin going to pick up that Outlaw for another round in this map on an anti-eco.
Look at Spring.
Where are you?
Took that Odin damage off the rip, and Zekin's able to find an Outlaw pick with finally decided to push up on B, by the way.
Oh, that's gotten him his showstopper. Just in case Sen wanted another advantage to close out this half.
Oh, man. Springs at 6, by the way. Far too much spam for Wolves to deal with. Center holding all the cards. A double swing here. They'll try it, but bang! Almost had the correction. Spring at 6, wants a rifle. He'll have it stripped from his hands momentarily. Watch this snakebite lineup. Yeah, just the delayed drop. I like that. 8 rounds for Sentinels. Last of the half. Showstopper earned by Zekin. It's looking grim for Wolves fans.
Gotta say, the just existence of the Vice utility on this map has really thrown a wrench in the game plans from Wolves. And it's, I think, highlighted some of the issues that they've had as a team, where it's disconnected them on executes to too great of an extent on multiple site attempts.
Are they shooting back?
All right, Wolves, last chance to get a desperately needed round win on what is typically the favored side on this map.
And this is that more passive A-side variation for Sentinels on defense. Nobody heading up to rubble.
And Zekin has actually picked up the operator towards C. I'm going to assume there's probably a rifle on the ground for him as well to pick up, and he has the showstopper to play with. So he's got 4 weapons if he needs to use all of them.
Here's Gilgamesh. And that's why he's down at 1,600. Of course, you spend up here. And that Vice util that you referenced earlier is definitely going to be an issue at C. Popped here early. So you saw the nanoswarm used by YU. Try and draw it out. Oh man, that is a long shot. He even tanks the Prowler in order to take it. Zekin might likely give up some rooms. Juicy has his own showstopper, so he clears the room at B. This is Wolves tipping their hand.
This will get enough space for Lysor to get the plant down right now safely. Spring on this lurk through A. Narrate is ready. He has eyes on the smoke. Can Spring actually catch a timing right now? He hears them running away. It's going to be time for him to hit the go button.
Juicy will buy more time now. He's gonna force Sentinels back a little longer. Okay, Juicy tapped down a little bit. No, 56! Showstopper goes between his legs apparently. And as Spring tries to get active and up, and Lysor down to 1. Just Lysor left. And it's a disastrous attack side on Lotus for Wolves. Not nearly enough rounds earned here to give them any sense of confidence. They were dictating the pace of the game on Split. This time, though, they were taking orders from Sentinels.
I just don't have that explosivity right now on Lotus that they had when we were back on Split. Sentinels looking elite right now on their own pick.
Zekin tanks that Prowler, knows he has the shot. Juicy clears B with a showstopper, but can't do much else with it.
Narrate, once he got that Odin online, he was so oppressive. Zekin even getting the kill with the off there, was taking advantage of the outlaw on the proper rounds. Sen really doing everything right. Wolves with no answers, couldn't deal with the Vice.
Classic comp, classic performance from Sentinels. Can Wolves get back in the game after the break?
Hey everyone, make some noise, because we got Alexis over here in the house! Alexis, what are you up to here, you know? How you been?
I've been really good. We've been doing duo workshops for the Valorant University, and now I'm just here watching the games.
Yep. Are you enjoying the venue and the vibes? I mean, I saw a lot of fans walking up to you asking you for selfies.
I love the vibes. The venue's insane. I love Artist Alley, where I can buy little trinkets. I've bought so many little trinkets.
Aww. All right, I gotta ask you about the game though. Are you supporting anyone, you know, rooting for anyone?
I gotta root for Sen, right? Gotta.
Right, you're Sen City. I want to ask you about the meta though, because you play a lot of Breach, right? So what do you think of the current meta with the Breach, I mean Taeho nerf, the little bit of a Breach nerf as well, and how the teams are playing?
I think the Taeho nerf was definitely needed, for sure. Very overtuned agent. I will say I feel like the Breach nerf was not super necessary, but maybe I'm biased as a Breach player. That stun, that 2 seconds on the stun really hurts my soul a little bit.
Right, but I need you to do me a favor and hype up the crowd for the second half. So, ready? We're gonna say let's go, okay? Second half!
Let's go, guys!
Let's go!
It's all happening here at the NKS Centre in Toronto. Sen City have landed, and after a rocky start to the series, they look like they've stabilized. Time for your Coinbase Econ report here. Remember, this is a factor of the damage you've done divided by the credits. you spent. So really about how much impact on the game you can have per credit.
Zekin bang up there, certainly, and that's even with Zekin buying Outlaws, dropping them, buying an AWP, still able to get so much value out of everything he was spending that cash on throughout the game, which is obviously also reflected in the score. Sen on the less favored side for Lotus, especially when we're looking at the comps we have of the old meta, which is back as the new meta. 9-3 is just so tough for Wolves to come back on. Their attack side was the favored one back on Split. Let's see if they have it in them here. Spring, he's been hitting. But the rest of the guys, they need to come to life.
Let's make him dance.
All right, folks, we are moments away from jumping into the second half of Lotus. And like Quiet said, the challenge has been issued, a 3-round attack side for Wolves. So the pistol is where it begins for them, a huge comeback. Not unlike the one Sen had to undertake on Split.
Juicy had a tough time on attack. Unfortunately, was just sent in and isolated by so much of that utility, was in unwinnable situations. Maybe here on defense is where he can turn it around. He was a star for the team on map 1.
Tentatively, Sen is starting to encroach here. Pass box, they've checked that. Baby Door, of course, untouched. In tree, Lysor is going to be waiting. Wolves may be looking for an opportunity to explode out from here, but they're going to have to make some noise in getting rid of the door. Tree control taken, but now Sen looking over Baby Door. Sufet's able to stop them. What a bouncer! You shall not pass, he says. Still wants to over-push into the spike location. The race having to get a second, but it's on Zelsis. Sheriff in hand. And a heck of a job to do.
Well done from Wolves, just swinging out together there.
30 seconds left.
All of the Sentinel players just kind of clumped up, playing by the orb, trying to get towards Baby Door. The exact start that Wolves needed, unless Zelsis with this Sheriff can go off, but that's just not going to happen. He doesn't have the time. There's simply no way. Wolves getting back into the game here on defense. Let's see if they can try to go on a similar run.
Juicy with the grenade out there. Zelsis hoping for a little bit to be offered up. That's not to be. The swing there from Baby Door for Wolves. Gets them onto the board here in this second half. A drought of rounds. Sen was stitching together 4 at the end of that first half. This play here, nice little double up. Spring pushes out to try and take more. Is punished for it, but the damage is already done.
And then you just have Juicy on the cross from sight. Just a beautiful setup. Simple, highly effective from Wolves. And they are going to fully invest up into this anti-eco round where Zekin is going to do the Juicy cosplay from the first half and go for the Bucky double satchel.
Yeah, perhaps to upper. Maybe with a dark cover to get him in there.
I'm getting deja vu.
Prowler comes out, there's also a wall there. Now over towards the mound side of things for Sentinels. Zekin still has his satchels, blast packs, he's caught midway through. It's the marshal of all things that catches him.
John does actually recover that Bucky. Maybe he can have a better fare with it. YU holding the cross. Here come the swings from Wolves.
Not a lot to write home about in this round. Solid stuff from Wolves. YU just waited off the now, and John says, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, they say. What do I have here?
Well, he gets his. Unfortunately, that is just the Marshall down, but they'll take what they can get with the Bucky investment, which does end up being a little bit awkward into this. Zekin is just going to have to buy up into a Stinger. Well, we've got 2 back-to-back rounds, I will say, for Wolves on defense, where the fundamentals are just looking good. Just playing, swinging out of these smokes together, taking the fight to Sen as a unit.
Yeah, good defensive util over at B that sort of diverts Sentinels to the C extremity. And now the pleasantries have been exchanged. They mostly buy here for Sen. There's a seize attempt over towards Rubble, but nobody for Sentinels is in attendance. They're pretty quickly heading to C, but there's definitely some util that needs to be cleared out.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, so important to just try to get your orbs over to your raise if you can. Get as many showstoppers as possible when you're on this attack side. Sen want to get into this C site perhaps. There are 3 players ready to go, but the other 2 a bit too far away. Orb likes to go to narrate on account of him being the closest to the ultimate at the moment.
So here's where great teams on Lotus attack side can succeed. They've got nothing really out of these early exchanges except some defensive util.
And now look at the difference here for how Wolves are approaching these A re-clears. They do have Narrate involved here. They can throw out some of this initiator utility if they want, but at the moment it's just going to be a snake bite for back. Rubble slowly making their way out together as the clock is ticking down to 35 seconds.
Nice all spotted, tagged up on the shoulder peak. Backing away into Baby Door is Juicy. Zelsus now takes this opportunity to get some bead control. They can pinch on the wall. The raise, but Juicy sees an opportunity to come forward with that retake wall thrown up. Now Sen bouncing over towards B, but Juicy's going to be waiting for them. That paint shell doesn't do too much to dissuade him. Paranoia, though, could be a problem for the Rays. Juicy on the corner. Can't really see. Bang, and it's haphazard shooting. Effective enough, though, for Sentinels.
Nere was just so patient on that lurk. Bides his time, gets the free kill. Spring, jump off from Zeki, gets out of the way to Satchel to win the duel. Now 1-for-1.
Wayu's only got a sheriff to work with. Sufat has to be careful on this angle. Just a Guardian to play with. Bang, re-smokes up. It forces Wayu to just push out into the great unknown. Sentinels are waiting for him with open arms. Converting that first rifle round here on this attack side.
Nice fast trades from Zelsus to clear things out. Juicy was dangerous for a moment in Baby Door when he finds the perfect timing window to swing out, get the opening pick towards Rubble. But eventually from that position, you can just feel the walls closing in on him. You're just too susceptible to any utility coming through.
Sorry. I got you though. I like that. I like that from you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now heading into what will be the first full buy round for Wolves. Coach Fade going to call that second timeout in the game. Crucial. Down 10-5. Must win. This is the game on the line, not just the round. This will be Sen getting to match points.
Thought that was an attack side round from Sen that showcased some pretty good macro fundamentals for Lotus. Getting up on that C side, getting the orb, forcing out some of that killjoy util. Bounce over to A. See what you can tease out there. Start to pressure the player in Baby Door and eventually execute B pretty cleanly, all things considered. Wolves gave them a lot of map to play with, to be fair. And maybe that's the call. Maybe it's about being a little bit more proactive on one or both extremities here. Looking to take maybe an early Rubble fight. They've got a full buy here, our team from China.
Listen, so far, you still have to give them a lot of credit. They have defied expectations coming into this, going up against a hungry Sentinels who are trying to bounce back from a disappointing showing at Bangkok this year, going out, losing 13-1 to Liquid. They want to start off strong with a clean 2-0 against a Wolves team that are just trying to make themselves known on the international stage for the first time. We didn't even think they'd be here.
And once again, this early action, one out by Spring now.
Always happy to just take a 1-versus-1 in Spring.
For all appearances, Sen are highly committed to this siege. Yeah, that smoke towards Waterfall says they're coming again. Wayu has the stopping power. Just punishes Zekin mid-flight. All of a sudden, the options are limited for Sen.
And that is just some spray through after the door gets activated. Knows where to put the crosshair. Juicy.
Okay.
Quick on the shot. That should be curtains on the round.
That's a devastating round coming out of Wolves here. That C control, Wayu basically locking it down himself. Look at the locations of Sen's deaths here. Failed B attempt. Wayu catching the crossing Zekin. A flawless round here for Wolves.
Money's going to be pretty bad for Sen as well. Should be worth 2 here for Wolves. Look, that's just Spring so ready for, again, it's just that common Sentinel work position where you try to take a little timing peek. Spring too fast. Juicy too fast on that swing as well. They just shoot well in that round, but credit for isolating Zekin on that attempt to satchel in. Now we've got Kaplan going to call the timeout here. As Wolves are trying to make a little go at it.
Yeah, I mean, so far.
Second half, not too bad for them.
Sen able to convert their first gun round, take 3 rifles out of it. After that sort of buy of the Bucky and the anti-eco. Second had to make do with a Stinger. It worked out. I don't blame them here, though, sort of. That last round, far less elaborate in terms of how they worked the map. They lost a player very early in B main and ended up just having all of their eggs in that seaside basket. They got flattened by YU. Zekin just got headshot straight out of midair, so perhaps a call from Kaplan, hey, let's slow it down. Let's maybe make use of this map, work it a little bit more. Make use of that Viper wall we're using on A.
Yeah, going to have to ensure that they're able to draw out a fair amount of that utility before they're actually getting in for the executes. It's sort of a light commitment too. Like, you can't have Bing try to teleport across in a situation like that.
They did that in round 15. They drew out a lot of util early before ending B. So the concept of a plan is there for Sentinels. See how they put it together now. Round number 17, folks. You still with us, Toronto? That's what I thought.
All right. Sentinels on the eco round here. Just a stinger for Bang and a full effort to try and get out towards Rubble. Viper utility up to make the cross. Mysore again here defending. It's been a tough going for him on the map so far. Wolves would love for him to begin to heat up. Maybe he can get some confidence kills on the anti-eco just to get things rolling.
And they're wasting no time in getting this tree set up. And in fairness, Wolves don't have anything set up to stop them. They're going to be allowed into the A site. Pretty ideal start to the round for Sentinels. Now it's a matter of landing the plane as Wolves give the side up for the retake.
Zekin trying to get this really forward position. Cheeky little angle to play around this dark cover that's thrown down.
A nice little paint shells buys a lot more space. Oh, okay. Zekin, oh, he disrespects the snake bite. Brings Abba to deal with him. Little high-low set up now from the defenders as they try and get back in here. Nightfall thrown up by Sen. A big ping, though, off that horn, apparently. Sufat's able to reveal much of the defenders, and now Lysol wants to step up, have a crack at it, too. It's only down to YU. These Elses. YU, so little to work with in terms of teammates. Tara could be deployed, but in a 1 versus 1, he's got a face. Zelsis down. And it's going to be his rifle burst, the classic. All things considered, pretty solid round for Sentinels, but Wolves rack up another.
A lot of damage done. I do like how Sentinels were able to play that. Getting proactive, fighting towards heaven. They back off, absorb a little utility, try to repost, keep fighting. They were not slowing down with their effort to apply pressure to Wolves. Results in a lot of damage done. Now here comes the very crucial buy round for them. They're going up against the Wolves that have multiple high-impact ultimates to play with here.
Lid's definitely kept on their economy to some degree by Sentinels. You're right, we got lockdown. Viper's Pit to play with. Showstopper for Juicy. Banging with that TP across to Rubble now. Sen again thinking about A early.
Wolves really no desire to go for these hard fights towards A. They've been giving it up, letting Lysor just spot for the information late Sen. They're slowing things down. They're cutting noise completely, pressing up towards this site. I mean, Lysor could be in some serious danger.
Turned anti-flash. That door being toggled is more than enough to tempt him off of A.
Yeah, it gets away at just the perfect time. This site is totally open, totally free. That being said, though, Wolves just have fantastic ultimates to play for a retake. Bang, trying to get that kill. Lysor is going to want to play patiently.
Of course, the temptation's going to be here for Sentinels to push off this site wire, but it's a dangerous proposition. That lockdown could be an issue.
He gets that Steel Garden activated here, by the way. This is going to connect onto everyone if he rips it right now.
Yeah, finds the timing for it. Why are you trying to step out of it?
I think they mostly got out of the way there, actually.
Like
Their time is dwindling, though. They're going to have to recommit quickly. Great opener from Spring.
Delta's down. There's going to be a push coming from stairs at the moment from Wolves as well, but John tucked in the corner. 1 and 2. And here comes Juicy. Showstopper at the ready, but he can't get in. Finally makes it onto the side. Narrate's going to be dealt with, but YU is out of the game. 3 up for Sen. Bang. TP cancelled.
They all had to get off the site, but the spike is still planted for them, and there's just not enough time for Lysor. He's forced to retreat. Great positional adjustments from Sentinels at the end there. Had the spike planted for them. Steel Garden, sure, it doesn't get the connections, but it just ends up wasting so much time. And that means Wolves waste the showstopper, waste the lockdown, all for naught. Sen on 11. creeping closer to the map win.
Juicy looked like he got seized as he was trying to come in with that showstopper, but still converted it for a kill. But just the spacing, like you mentioned, that still guarded forced. Then the Wolves lost another 5 seconds of time to make that retake happen. And timing's been a bit of an issue for them over the series at really important moments.
Sen bursting out into rubble with some haste. They've been getting this space on the map for free, and they haven't been getting re-cleared. So they're hoping that's just going to be the case right now, and they can pivot elsewhere.
The push-up, though, towards Mound by Juicy means that he knows this is a bit of a fake. Now Sen are going to drift back in that direction. B main held 3 players at B for Wolves in general, so Sen make a good call here, heading to a pretty lightly held C-side.
Second gets the showstopper with a collection of that orb. Is he going to try to send it in? It's Bang teleport on the cross to break the crosshairs.
Awkward for Johnny, tries to crouch, but Juicy's waiting there, finds his second. Zelsa steps up, only for 1, it's 3 for Wolves' raise. Now the momentum out of Sen's court. Second can still go for this though.
Oh, that would just be so high risk. Certainly doesn't want to waste it. That being said, though, this is a pivotal round. Maybe if they can get a kill first, bring it into a 2v3, then you can use it. But in the 2 versus 4, you're just not going to want to waste it. But look at the Sen economy.
30 seconds left.
Wolves have been able to keep a lid on it. They've kept them in that danger zone. And with just 20 seconds left, they're going to opt to save these 2 rifles, bring them into the next.
Narrate. Pretty big series for him. I mean, Zekken came on your show and sort of said he had full belief in Narrate to turn up when it mattered. That he just needed that one breakout game to really show what he's capable of. There's a sense that he's still got more to show on this team.
He's been having a quality series here. Yeah, I really don't think he's even reached his peak with Sentinels yet. To me, he does have more to show. He can even kick things into a higher gear.
And that's a Wolves round picked up. Sen do not want to take the gambit with 2 guns left. Great little 3-piece for Juicy here on C.
This is another situation where you're seeing what Wolves are driving with. That is flooding back in, these good fundamentals, swinging together, taking the fights together, and they're finding the kills in the Sentinels' transitional moments where they're trying to still scale deeper, get into the site.
Their fears.
All right, Sen, because of those 2 safe guns, they are going to be able to get a near full buy. Celsius does have the Stinger.
Okay, they got Juicy at 8 this time. Looks like Wolves are ready for a bit more of a rubble fight.
Wow, this is Nere trying to draw a lot of attention. Baits out the Nightfall while the rest of Sentinels will be able to get into this B site unless Spring tries to slow them down.
Too slow in a baby door here for Wolves. Spring's able to find one anchored on the site. Sentinels forced away the one at Viper util.
It's just that Molly on the ground that once again isolates Zekken in the site and evens things up. Even this pivot to C slowed down on account of another Molly, but Wolves won't fully be in position to get in just yet. Hoping to spam through. Bang getting on low HP, but the Viper's Pit will just further obscure the view from Waterfall.
Spike passed along to Zelsis by the looks. And now a bit of a nose cut even from Sentinels, but you have to imagine they're staying here because of the Viper's Pit. Zelsis here with an Arc Rose to set up, and this is going to be a tough retake for Wolves at the best of times. They can't even counter pit this, Wyatt.
Spike planted.
Spike is going to be planted, getting through this pit. A nightmare, but at the very least, when Sufat does make his way over, look at the concern right now from Wolves about a flank towards B. They're doubling up for that. Oh, and it's just wasting time. Juicy can't win a crucial duel.
And he can't double up with anyone from Waterfall because of that pit. He's solo in that position.
The round is slipping away. Prowler needs to be used to spot someone out, hoping to get some spam through the pit.
Oh, 1 by 1, White, they set up and they're fed to the wood chipper. I think at this point, Sufat realizes there's no point forcing the issue any further. Lysor caught out, both guns stripped away from Wolves. With an economy still to be able to buy, that is a devastating round to drop to Sen.
1 round away, Sentinels from taking their first match here after struggling at Bangkok, going 0 for 2, sent home early. You could feel the frustration from them, the way they were speaking about that tournament. Zekken speaking about their failures to adapt as a team, to play together in the way that they needed to, and they've bounced back.
Marshall has decided to win the round.
For this final round 2, they're going to have significant ultimates to close things out. Wolves have got their full buy. Can they stay in the game? Nightfall ripped immediately onto Lysor. So much pressure towards his way.
Zekken wants to get up here with this showstopper. That's a deep rocket.
Oh, he went with a snipe with that.
No catch though, Sufat respects it. Being slowed down a little bit though, Sen have not left rubble. But they can still pull out. We've seen this before, bouncing over to another side after some early action here.
Well, Wolves will be more than happy that both ults are gone within the first 20 seconds and did not do a damn thing for Sen. They don't even really have much control of rubble. Juicy is pushed up towards box, has Spring on stairs ready to swing off of him. John is just trying to keep them distracted, keep them on this site.
That's an extra 5 to 8 seconds in which Wolves do think something's happening at A, even if John doesn't have any follow-up. That means it will be YU again that has to anchor this C site alone.
At this point, though, they're not believing it. Spring is getting over to the C site right now, and we'll be able to help YU on account of the delay from the mollies.
Viper's Pit now drawn out in the C site. It's going to be a tough ask to expect Sen to go there, so we're bouncing back. Time is getting short. 30 seconds left in the round, and the Vanguard appears to be Zelsis at B. Is A back on the menu?
Yeah, it looks like it. This is a very late pivot. They want to actually go into a B split. Threatening A hit second. Opens
it's
up.
Working. They're going away for the B side, and they got the drop on Juicy. The one pick at A draws the defenders off the B side, and now it's pandemonium from Wolves trying to get back in. Lysol with a double. Decking and bang full well away side. Now Zelsis out of the game. John clutching for the series. Spring and Lysol doubled up. Spray through smoke is wild. It's wayward, and Spring gets it to half. Now off of it. Looking to team up with Lysol here, and John has very little to look at. Somehow finds Spring, and he doubles down! The mastermind plants the flag for Americas here in Toronto. Clutching up the game as Sentinels walk away with the 2-0.
What a final round from Sen's IGL, John. Beautiful calling into that pivot towards B, catches out Juicy, and then clutches it out in the 1 versus 2.
Selesai sudah match yang pertama. sebentar lagi kita akan menyaksikan match yang kedua antara Gengi melawan Mibr, dan kita akan menyaksikan pertemuan antara Texture melawan Aspas.
And qualifying this event alone was a massive deal for the org, for the young players, for everyone that's on that stage right now. Here's what it meant to them and their families.
Cortez, a gente sabe que a sua família tá aqui, né, cara? Então, a gente vai tentar, consegue colocar pra gente, produção, olha a sua família aparecendo, tá aqui do ladinho. Então, se você quiser mandar um recado pra sua família e também pro pessoal do Brasil, aproveita aí agora, cara.
Cara, eu queria agradecer novamente primeiro Deus, porque sem ele não sou nada. Obrigado à minha família que sempre me apoiou, e isso é por vocês também, por todo mundo que sempre me ajudou, mano. Eu já pensei tantas vezes em desistir e tanta gente me ajudou, então é só o primeiro passo. A gente ainda quer ganhar o VCT Américas, não é só a classificação que a gente quer, e a gente vai por isso. Muito obrigado, a gente ama vocês.
Pouca pessoa sabe do que eu venho passando esse ano, em questão do meu pessoal, em questão da minha família. Então, com certeza essa vitória foi pra você, pai e mãe. Foi pra você.
Cara.
Filho, e aquilo que nós combinamos lá atrás quando começou, primeiro melhor da rua, depois melhor do bairro, depois melhor da cidade, melhor do estado, melhor do país e melhor do mundo!
You know, it is just such a beautiful and heartfelt moment watching them with their families on the stage, and I just can't help but feel like, even for Artson, how much of a moment that is as well, because he's a guy that stuck around when times were terrible for MIBR, when they were down towards the bottom of the standings, and now he gets to be sent off by his father to come and try to win a title on the global stage. It is just incredible.
Yeah, and let's not forget, some of the fans, they were not kind to him. He took a lot of the blame and the brunt of the issues that were happening, and Mel, very similar to some of the stories we talked about in the first match, you can't help but want to root for them. You want to see them do well on this stage.
It's hard to root against him. I feel like I'm a little emotional even just watching that snippet. It's just seeing someone who has worked so hard for something and finally seeing some fruit bear, finally making the international stage despite everything against them. It is so great to see, and especially with a revitalized roster, and just how they're playing as well has been really impressive. The way they made it here is something that is not, that you can't really say for a lot of teams in the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the emotions high.
Nah, sebelum kita masuk match-nya, ini aku gak peduli ada nonton atau enggak ya. Ini kan Aspas main di Mibr. Kita lihat statistik Mibr di VCT Amerika. Nih, Mibr placement 2023 sampai 2025. Dari yang paling terendah mereka login Sao Paulo 17, peringkat 17 sampai 32. Amerika League 9, Amerika LCQ peringkat 7, peringkat 6, peringkat 11, peringkat 11, peringkat 3. Ini setelah Aspas masuk. Berarti setelah Aspas masuk, berarti tujuan Aspas ke Mibr itu hanya ingin membawa Mibr ke VCT Master. Dilihat dari statistik ini, begitu. Dan sebentar lagi kita akan lihat pertarungan, pertandingan, man to man, man to man. Ya pokoknya itulah ya, antara Aspas dengan Texture. Ini dia Aspas Verno Artisan Cortesia Senom. Keren cuy jaketnya, sweaternya. Bede. Ini apa ya? Amerika lawan apa? Tadi kan Amerika lawan China.
I just want everyone to feel relaxed and play the best that they can.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Oh? Oh?
Don't ever complain that we don't give you what you want, you know? Ever again, ever again. Me and who though? Me and who? You and I? Yeah. Sorry, Christy. Sorry, Roy. I know Roy is here. My bad.
somewhere.
My bad, Roy. If you want to make us
Roy,
unknown.
we can hold hands.
Yeah, you want to run down there? We'll get you and Roy together. But that is the kind of, you know, chemistry we want to see.
And it's honestly, again, it's just, it feels like I'm beating a dead horse here, but just the fact that it's just the most random, unlikely duo.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, we thought NRG might have had a chance here, and it's Mibr, Aspas, and Verno just bromancing it up.
Holding hands, yeah.
Insane.
This team is the real deal. I know you've watched them play, but I think this team could make some serious run here in Toronto.
You reckon the bromance carries? That's the buff?
I mean, yeah, the bromance, also Aspas. I don't know if you forgot about Aspas. We have Aspas in Toronto, Yinsu.
According to Texture, it doesn't mean much. But speaking of the players, it's time to send this back down to the stage and welcome back Aspas, of course, Mibr and Genji. We have a lot of rookies on this stage, but the main dish, I guess, is gonna be Aspas going up against Texture once again on the global stage. They're not surrounded by the same players this time around, of course, with a new map pool coming in as well. We spoke about this already, and we anticipate a highly competitive match.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I see a lot of similarities between these two teams. Neither of them play super crazy, like, you know, peak of the meta type comps. There's a lot of older style compositions, a lot built around their duelists, finding opportunities, especially jet picks out of Aspas, these types of things. And it comes down to a strong macro game built around very talented players.
And I know Fraud is someone that prides himself on the strength of his game plans. And when I'm sunset first map,
instant sunset
pick.
Ini map yang akan dimainkan yaitu Sunset Heaven Ascent.
Absolutely don't want to go anywhere near Icebox. No, he tears that up. But honestly, what we get is a pretty interesting map pool because A, Sunset, haven't seen these teams on it, but it's two very small maps that aren't so much focused around getting an operator online. up until if we get to a Decider Ascent where it becomes the duelist show again.
Man, these 3 maps, I could not be more excited for this matchup. Sunset first as a pick on its first introduced into Masters Toronto this year. I truly wonder what comp is MIBR going to run. And Genji on Haven. Genji's always ran master classes on that map. Always a treat to watch the macro.
This is a very, it's risky, but it's also not, right? MIBR picking the Sunset. There's no footage of them on this map. We wanted some of the other teams to just have the balls to pick it, but they haven't done it so far. And if they were to take map 1, I think their chances are incredible in this series.
Yeah, honestly, I'm curious if MIBR are going to be rocking with the Neon on Sunset, because I think that agent is super good there. Osboss Neon?
Yeah.
I think it's time, personally.
Yeah?
Finally, that would be such a treat to watch.
I wouldn't hate the Waylay either. Is that too much of a cope?
Osboss Waylay?
Yeah, I reckon.
Even imagine, it's just...
Yeah.
I don't think I've even seen him play it so much in rank, so that would be a treat as well to watch.
I fear I am not a Waylay believer, Sue. Sorry.
If it was anybody that can Slay on this stage, it would be Aspas.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Yeah. Thank you for enabling me. Thank you for enabling me. But what about the other side of this for Genji? Again, not the same roster since we've seen them at Champs, as Masters Shanghai, and as we take a look at the agents, so like Texture is going to be hovering the Reyna.
Yeah, you get your little Waylay hover in there as well. I do want to say, like, in regard to... Wait, actually, that's a deadlock insta-lock for Foxy.
Yes, it is.
Wait, that's kind of fire.
Are we seeing Viper deadlock on Sunset here on defense Genji? That would be insane.
That's kind of whack, because, okay, first of all, like, usually you're seeing, like, Cypher or Vyze is almost must-pick on this map. Right. You're almost always seeing that dedicated Sentinel. Deadlock as a solo Senti means you're very limited in terms of actual information you have.
I think what we're seeing here is Genji's approach to the idea that this map is typically incredibly attacker-sided. I know we haven't seen any of it at Masters Toronto, but in scrims, this map is incredibly attack-sided. So them having the Deadlock and Viper and the smokes on Omen to try to hold the initial choke might be their solution to that.
Wait, I love this Sage. No, go back, there was a Sage hover for a second. That would have been so cool. Are we gonna?
We're gonna get the Neon.
We're gonna get a Neon head-to-head.
Yeah, so we were seeing Osboss pick up a few Neon games back at the end of playoffs. He was playing it on Lotus primarily. So this is not out of his agent pool per se, but he does not have a lot of games on the agent professionally. But on Sunset, it's the right choice. I'm ready for it.
It's gonna be a hell of a first map here. Of course, with Genji back on the global stage, we gotta bring back your casters, Achilles and Paperton as well. Have fun with this one.
Oh, there's nothing we can do but have fun with this series. MIBR going up against Genji. Texture v Osboss once again. This is gonna be a banger.
This is one of the most hype matchups we have coming into this Swiss stage. Incredible players across the board. A lot of players who have done it all on the biggest stage. Yeah, Texture and Osboss are going to be the first 2 names everybody's looking at, but there's so many talented players beneath them that are going to be doing some big things. I've been really impressed with Zenom, watching him over in Americas. He's done a really good job. Verno has slotted in so nicely for MIBR coming over to this team. He has integrated so quickly. Beyond impressive what he's been able to do.
Yeah, obviously both squads as well having some of those rookies here that are finding their footing for the very first stage at a global event. Ash there for Genji. But Toronto, are you ready to get into this series? It is certainly going to deliver. Let's go ahead and jump right into the pistol. Osboss taking a tad bit of damage here in mid, just a straight shot through the smoke. Finds him down to 75 HP.
Trying to find a way in through the market. They're going to be given access to the Deadlock util there, blocking off the front of that site.
Headshot. Connecting there onto Verno. Ash with the cleanup, able to find him. Sheriff in hand. Osboss again taking damage, just eating it here on the entry. Does manage to crouch down, stays hidden for the moment. Foxy 9 finding Cortezia, however, at the same time, and now Gentleman's going to be eliminated. Osboss will fall. It's going to be Artsy to try to clutch this out. Finds the first, cannot quite get that transfer. Genji taking the opening pistol.
Yeah, looking really clean. Looking like they've got some good ideas behind this Deadlock. I think this might be the first time we've seen Foxy play it that I can remember. But anyway.
He's played it, but obviously not on Sunset.
Yeah. But this is really curious to see because they've got some ideas to try to block off that front B entrance, and then they overstack mid to make sure that they're going to be able to clean up any entry from that angle. They do a phenomenal job of it. Ash, another big question mark, one of the newest players we have here in Pacific on Gen G. He has stepped in nicely as that info initiator generally, was playing Teho quite a bit for them. Now, of course, with the nerfs, going to be switching over into the Sova role and gets 2 big kills with that Sheriff to open things up. A bunch of Guardians for Gen G. Shouldn't surprise anyone. They are big fans of that gun.
That they are. So a little touch of damage there. Orb going to be picked up. Trying to fast track that rolling thunder. Swing onto the corner. Karon, the one tap. The spike now on the floor. Slide across the way. Karon still wreaking havoc. Is he able to peel one back? Karon will fall. Weapon to be lost, but that's about it. Texture sliding right up into Verno's face. Greets him with a 3K, and it's going to be Gen G. Overall, a very clean anti-eco.
Yeah, so far so good. Got some good reads on the map. I mean, for Gen G, it's all about map control. That is the way they want to play this game. They want to pressure you. They want to use the Sentinel utility to really block off one site, the access to it. They want to make sure that you're not going to be able to work that part of the map. And then let Texture control another side. That's typically how you're going to see them roll. And that opens up the map for Munchkin to try to find his timings, to go for those lurks. I was talking to Coach Alex from PRX the other day.
Karen's off the races already.
He's having fun, and oh boy, we already lose Aspas.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. 6 seconds into the round. There's 2 players playing there inside of B main. Aspas dead, and that's all of your entry power taken out of your hands here.
But look how aggressive they are on the map right now. You've got Karan all the way pushed down to A main. He has so much info, and they get that early kill, and they immediately use the safety and the comfort of the deadlock utility to fall back onto the B site to open things up. Now, this is good work by Mibr to open up mid. Just got Ash here watching it right now.
Hold it back is Ash. Okay, welcome to the global stage. Finds himself 2 quick kills. Verno going to be eliminated. It's now just Shannon to try to stay alive and hold on to this weapon. No chance of recovery whatsoever. To swing in, finds a headshot will stop it from being a flawless. See if he's going to be able to find some more to slow down the bankroll here of Gen G. Because right now it's about to spiral out of control. Some noise made. They know that he's tired. Gen G not allowing any thrifties.
Yeah, they're so active on the map, putting some pressure on towards A main. Foxy again, really clean. Trying to get Aspas going. Karan having none of it. Texture just says, well, they've got weak guns. I'll just see what I can get done. And Karan just steady. A player who has impressed last year. Had a few ups and downs this year, but overall, we still know what he's capable of when he's at his best, and he is a difficult player to go up against, especially on the defender side.
Yeah, so early timeout, necessary one called here from Mibr. See what Coach Fraud's going to be able to do to try to right the ship here. Get the players back into the action. Thus far, just 1 kill on pretty much everybody on Mibr at the moment. Aspas 0-4-0. Munchkin, no charges towards a Viper's Pit. He has gotten 0 involvement in any of the action, hasn't died, hasn't gotten an elimination, just has 1 assist to his name.
Maybe we can look at Munchkin's econ rating after this.
Oh,
see
boy.
What that's going to look like a little bit, but I mean, Karan is finding...
It's a flat 0.
It is, yeah. He doesn't need to do anything. Just buy some guns for other people. But this has been pretty solid. I mean, the defensive ideas here, getting really aggressive at the points of attack early, then kind of peeling back, you know, taking that early man advantage, and then forcing Mibr to make some moves. And they've been hitting some disgusting shots along the way. So Gen G, one of the teams that, you know, when it came to the 3 teams that came out of Pacific, a lot of people are saying this may actually be the best team of the 3. You know, despite them falling to RRQ there in the grand finals, I think this Gen G team, if they keep looking like this, who knows, but still a lot of work to do, of course. And Sunset, a map that I was pretty curious about for them, because going back to 2024, they started off really hot on this map. They were really, really good. But as the year went on, they fell off. They started to lose to teams in Pacific. So going back with a very different comp, though, a very different look than what we saw last year.
And that was one of the things, was that inflexibility from Gen G, saying, no, we think this is still good enough, not really being willing to make pivots in the compositions. That has changed.
I mean, the only thing you're keeping is the Sova and the Omen. So that's really impressive that they've been this well prepared.
Big reveal onto Munchkin. He's able to straight back. Karon dropping down off the top here, and Market re-swings the corner. Shenum going to be taken down. Texture, 2nd kill. Cortezia hits the floor. The operator singing out here for Gen G, and the timeout is not going to lead to much of anything. It's a flawless in response. Gen G now 5-0. The economy once again kicked back here for MIBR.
They're everywhere. They're so active in their micro position. They're going high, low on you. Karan swinging out around a box when you're not expecting it. He starts out high, they go low. Munchkin's up on top of the box, and I mean, this is so difficult to read the defensive positions of Gen G. And you probably wonder coming into this map, the desk talked about it. This is an attacker-sided map. Usually, Gen G gets to pick which side they go for.
Then you can't do that.
And another big thing, that operator, once it gets into Texter's hands, that's when other teams start to crumble. He is one of the best in the world when it comes to that gun.
Quick little jiggle peek there on the angle. Damage not suffered. 2 Guardians here for the side of MIBR. Rest of the players with Sheriffs. These Guardians, they are weak though. Glass Cannon. Karen going on a walkabout, strafing down. He's going to catch Util in hand here. Let's see, trying to set up for that fault line. It falls to the wayside. Karen looking for a little bit more. Munchkin going to be taken down. Karen does fall. Verno, some very nice shots. Brings this back into a 3v3. Weapons to be scooped up. As Dart, however, will still get the reveal. Weapon upgrades here. As they get Cortezia joined in as well, so he'll take the Guardian. Texture getting on a deeper line. Realizes that they're not playing around a main, so now mid has to be a concern.
Ash going to be called upon again to maybe come up with a huge play to try to shut MIBR out of the round.
Makes noise.
30 seconds
That's back
left.
over in towards Boba. The slow creep up seems like he's got a read on this, but is he going to be able to hold the line? Faces forward, finds the first. Ospas answers back. 2v2. Foxy9 still here on the site. Ospas on the peak, immediately shut down. What a shot from Foxy9. The net hitting the connection, and Foxy getting the headshot. 6-0.
What a round here for Foxy, a player who had a short stint on the bench for Gen G and has come back with a fire underneath him. He has been incredible for the second half of stage 1. He has been lighting up Pacific, and he's doing a phenomenal job again. I mean, his site anchoring has improved so much this year. He is such a fearsome opponent to try to get through because of that incredible individual skill that he has. And when he can make good decisions on the back of it, Gen G will be in full form and will be a fearsome opponent for anybody in this event.
4 ults to work with here on the side of MIBR. As swing around the corner, there's the Hunter's Fury. Ospas having to dodge these. Falls down to 45, quick cancel. As Venom is able to find one. Munchkin dealt with. As Karen arrives on the TP, gets himself safely. Into the back of sight once again, dodging out that stun.
But because of
little way to
Ospas,
the slow walk forward, scoped in, trying to clear out the angle, and Ospas has the headshot. Up now on the floor, MIBR pole position to try to get the first round win. See if Shenham's going to be able to hold down this angle, but Karan almost finds him sleeping. Still trying to flush him out. A bit of a back and forth here. One that Karan does manage to win. Spike now going to be planted here on the A site. Hunter's Fury available for Verno if he can play in a disconnected position. As Ash gets flushed into the open, and he just takes the fight. He takes out Artzine's head. Hunter's Fury no longer a viable option. They don't have to play close. Sends out the recon. Cortezia gonna be dead. Verno now into the 1v3. Finds the first. The defuse being held. Shock Dart will connect. The spray is good. Looking for the clutch. Another Shock Dart to Karen's feet. Takes him so damn low, and Verno gets the fade away. The 3K into the Red Bull clutch. MIBR are on the board.
man, that is so back and forth, but Verno breathing life here into MIBR. And that round looked like it might be Gen G going from a 3v5 into winning. These Shock Darts and the follow-up spray, perfect. Just understanding these angles. We talked about at the beginning how impactful he's been coming in for MIBR. Nice! And that right there is a huge round.
Huge performance from him. I mean, he's got the whole rest of the team. He's got the same number of kills collectively there. Verno's impact certainly being seen. Heavy stack on this A site, though, from the side of Gen G. Two players in position. Ready to try to intercept this attack.
Changed up the deadlock positioning.
Spot's position noted. Foxy ignoring that. Tries to go in for the ultimate, but it's going to be canceled as he gets shut down. Fantastic shot there from Artsy that saves Osbots's life. Tucked into the corner. Hunter's Fury, no damage found, no ping reveals. MIBR making the decision to go ahead, slowly back away. Munchkin quite far forward, though, in B main. Maybe able to catch them by surprise. He's ready to swing out, but they know that they've given up this space, and now he's been spotted. He has to peel back.
Oh, Cortezia had an opportunity there to take the operator out of the round. Couldn't quite convert.
Would have been a big pick there, but he's going to make up for it by finding the headshot there on the Munchkin. Relay bolt to hold him in position for the time being, but ping reveal off the neural theft. They know exactly where Texture's at, but they can just ignore him. Go for the spike plant.
Spike planted.
Overdrive is available. Do they want to try to commit that here in the 3v4?
They've got no real great ability to pressure. Oh, they're going to go for it.
Pops it. Fast lane going to be sent. Some spam coming his way. Slides in. Able to find Artsy. Looks for Cortezia, but Karan will be there for the quick trade out. Now we go into a 2v2. Both players playing here in main. Smoke down. The TP in. Defuse being started. Overdrive, though, from Ospas. Tearing them asunder as Ash so very low. Eventually will get flushed out. Zverno collects both kills.
Another wild round. The pace of these have been incredible, and a lot of that is because Gen G normally likes to get aggressive early in the rounds, but this time they play a little further back. They give up some of that space intentionally. Foxy9 was still hanging on to his barrier mesh as well. Wasn't able to use the ult or given the opportunity to throw down some of that, so you couldn't really stall them out. And they took a lot of map space because of that. They're able to claim some mid control with Cortezia, keep Texture off balance, and then find a really nice kill onto Munchkin. Isn't able to really find those lurks just yet. Now he's got a judge. Trying to get things turned around. See if they read this.
Economy whittled away at here on both sides. But do they want to actually commit into the position? They're reading it, but they're unable to find the opening kill. It's going to be even more damage down. I'm taken very, very low. Shots out. Cortezia having to back away, but now they've had kind of both site access points. Door just slammed in their faces. What does the call end up being here for MIBR?
Well, yeah, you remove the Neon, you remove the breach. It's so difficult now to make an entry. You got to get a good paranoia, good recon maybe, but it's still a tough ask for MIBR.
Recon confirming that presence still here. Feels like the entry in from market from Cortezia is going to have to be absolutely monstrous.
It's been pinged out by Gen G. Oh my God, Ash.
I mean, he only had 2 HP, but
30 seconds
still
left.
just able to find him blind through the smoke off of timing. Verno similarly does get tagged up as well. He's now out into the open. Foxy9 makes his presence known. Net will not connect. Verno have to fight his way out of a very difficult position. He's able to do so with a nice shot there onto Foxy9, but getting the remainder, not quite going to be possible. Gen G get themselves up to 7, guaranteeing a lead at the half.
I'm really impressed with Ash so far here on his international debut. So it's really hot. One way to get Munchkin going, get him into a tricky spot with a judge and find some value. 3 kills for the IGL. He just loves to find those moments, find those weaknesses. You know, he's learning from what he saw in previous rounds. Hey, they're not really taking a lot of B main control if they're not contesting it early. I bet I can tuck into this corner and catch him completely off guard. He's just so good at reading his opponents. Ash playing a little bit further back, setting up for the crossfire with Texture. Inside A main.
Taken out.
Is a weaker buy. Verno with the hero rifle.
Little bit of noise being made here. Texture just walking forward. And, oh, a little bit of movement. Said he cannot find that shot, but he quick scopes back in to take down Ospas. 3 peaks, finds himself a second. Just one by one having him fall, but Artsy with a nice shot. He's able to go ahead and put that operator back down onto the floor.
It's bought a ton of time, though, for the reinforcements to arrive for Gen G. And MIBR seemingly don't feel like they have many other options but to commit to this.
Not exactly the weapon that you want to pick up to try to utilize on the attack on this site, but Shenam is able to make work of it. Get some value from that operator. There's still an opportunity here for Mibr, but now it starts dwindling.
Spike down A.
Spike going to be left on the floor. Just trying to slowly swing further and further. Try to gain some line of sight into A, but now he's going to be smoked off. This operator not likely to find much value at all.
30 seconds left.
Shot dart in from behind, and
Player
Verno unable
standing.
to find the kills. And I'm just going to be ping revealed out. Not much else to be done here. Has to go for the timing shot. Ash will flush him out. 8-2, Gen G back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, you just get that operator right back over to Texture. A little bit off on the first one, but the follow-ups were good. You just don't have many other choices. Love the way that Karan is playing on site, not giving Zenom the chance to really do much with that operator. Never gave him the angles, was aware of the situation. Good coordination, good comms for Gen G. Really in control here on this defender side. And it's gonna have to be another timeout for Mibr.
Always the toughest pill to swallow, having to commit both of these in that first half, but just given the circumstances, the state of things, it's absolutely necessary.
No, you have to. I mean, they just really haven't been able to find much success other than the rounds where Gen G wasn't playing aggressive early, where they weren't taking control of the mains. Those were the rounds that they were able to get it done, and Gen G just went right back to creating pressure early. And that is completely throwing Mibr off. They're not used to teams being that aggressive. But Gen G, again, loves that map control. That is what this team is all about. It is setting up your team to make it impossible for them to get through. And even if they do, then you've already got lurks going. You've got other things happening, and you're able to respond quickly.
All right, well, back into the action. We'll see if this can lead to a couple more round wins. Mibr still with an opportunity to try to make this an 8-4 half, recovered as much as humanly possible. They do have a Rolling Thunder available to try to make that happen. But at this point, feels like it's pretty much necessary. Granted, they're playing into a very defending-heavy composition with Foxy9 on that deadlock.
Good paranoia, though.
Let's get them to go ahead, back away from the forward angles. Barrier mesh set up to try to cut this off, and just even on the spam out, are able to go ahead and clear out one of the sonic sensors.
Look at Karan.
Flush against this tripwire here.
And Munchkin right behind now. Even Texture starting to make a move. Sees the tripwire, but
Look how far back they're playing. They're expecting this Rolling Thunder to come through to try to entry onto the site.
they don't want to give this up until the confirmation comes through that they're going to be planting onto A.
Without any real issues moving forward, they're just not going to commit this ultimate, so they don't send it out. And now that flank around the back has been noted. Nazbos able to win the fight here on the forefront as Foxy9 does get taken down, but Munchkin around the back. They weren't ready for that second layer. He strikes, finds 2 kills.
Cage triggered.
Not with this Rolling Thunder could be monstrous though for the post plant. He's got it set up and ready to go. Hearing Texture trying to sprint forward, trying to get ahead of it. And he will just get shut down. Timing though, Munchkin swings around the back. Ospas found. The time is getting away from them here as Pesia hits a great shot out from Ali. It's all on Ash now, and he cannot get it done. Huge round from Mibr. They get themselves a third.
Yeah, that is a dangerous round. And they do a great job of avoiding some of those traps that Gen G wants to set up, but the TP there, I believe, heard by Zenom. And that shuts down Kara, and then Munchkin somehow finds 2 back there. Cortezia, though, really starting to come to life, hitting some snappy shots. Much needed here for Mibr. See if they can find the 4th. 1 more to go in the half.
Neural Theft available, as well as from the shadows. Hunter's Fury, 1 charge away for Verno. Very solid tools about to be available. Munchkin, though. Viper's Pit, finally available. Took a while. We'll see when that comes into play, if at all. We'll just go ahead and try to lock down any access towards this A side. Texture playing forward, finding 1. The breach now eliminated. The re-push, and ooh, he is playing on a knife's edge. Karen at the same time going to be picked up. They now know that Market is at risk. Just for the re-peek. Find Shenum. Texture just single-handedly trying to hold this down, but Ash does get involved. Finding one, finding a second, looking for the third, runs out of bullets. It's just Cortesia, no corpses to try to play off, to try to get a reveal. Now being hunted here. Just sending the ult, trying to get any kind of stray tag. None to be found there, but Munchkin is slowly approaching around the back. Holding the angle here for the exit. Cortesia can find this. Maybe he can make a run, but Munchkin will be able to get it done. 9-3, Gen G way out in front of the half.
This is better than I was expecting at all for this team.
Not at all. Well, a lot of work to be done here from Mibr. We'll see if they can get the pistol when we come back after halftime. To be able to make a massive run back. Some people believe in curses. Mibr certainly hoping that that is true as they go into this pistol, a must win. Otherwise, Gen G will find themselves at double digits. Clear on the recon. Quad push basically out into mid. Tezia out over towards that market door. Let's look at the shove them back, but okay, well, count on for all the praises that we sing him. He's going to be the first one to fall. It's a nice shot to come through from Artsien.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Munchkin's just free roaming over at A. I mean, you do have Verno a bit close, but he's going to get some pretty easy access to the site. Although Mibr starting to get a read onto this. So they've left this space open. They're aware of that negative space. Let's see if they can stop Gen G from getting in and getting a plant going.
Barrier mesh. Difficult to try to clear out when it comes down to these pistols. Immediately going to start spamming it though, try to work this down as quickly as they can. And there you go. Nothing found there off the net. Couple shots exchanged, but no real damage going to be taken here. Still the player advantage for the side of Mibr as they get ready to go on this retake.
There's 3 Sheriffs in the hands of Gen G. They can connect.
Trying to find a timing. There you go. Munchkin coming up big. Finds 2. Brings it now into a 3v3.
Look at this reclear.
Is Sheriff not going to be recoverable, though, for Foxy 9 unless he can make his way all the way across. Paranoia does get sent. Shock Dart damage going to be found as Ash falls down to 11 HP, but still is good. Going to be good for 1, and now they know exactly where Verno's at. Revealed by the recon, the slide in. He's completely, utterly surrounded. Now netted, locked on the floor, but he gets the tap and brings it into the 1v1. Swings out, runs out of bullets. 2 bullets remaining, and what a shot! The time is not there, but my God, Verno! You are an absolute menace!
Oh my goodness. He is on fire today. 14 kills. He's now tied with Karan in the kill department. I mean, if he just has a few extra seconds here, but the delay, the stall, Ash in particular, the way he's working around the box on site, very, very heady.
And it's bittersweet because they cannot get the round win conversion off the back of that gorgeous play. But my God, Verno.
They're buying up here. MIBR.
They are.
Yeah. They're feeling the pressure. They're getting a little aggressive over towards A main, but Gen G being very patient. They're wary of something, and they're right to be so. They're taking their time to make sure that there's no deep push-outs. I mean, you saw it on the pistol round that they sent 3 right out of top mid. So you got to be ready. Some kind of aggression. Cortezia holding a tight angle with this stinger. Couldn't find any shots to connect, though.
Not going to do much at that distance. Playing for the information.
On the floor.
And Cam, got to catch him off guard.
Scanning ahead.
We've now confirmed that there's a force buy. So Gen G going to maybe play around a bit differently here. So it's going to be a quick pivot across. 3 players towards this A site.
Still being very methodical, our Gen G. Really taking their time. Still looking.
Very loose-lipped about their movements here. Texture's just stomping around. Trying to see if he can get any kind of reaction out of him. Paranoia goes across the site. It's not going to find either of these players at Alley. Shedham's able to find that kill, and that can't be a timing potentially picked up. Texture now going to be paranoid. Aspas does get a dink at range, puts Ash down to 70. Weapon not going to be scooped up. Foxy's able to find 1 now. Trades it out. Net connecting. Spike planted. Drone hunting around here from the back, but with the double phase, Gen G are able to find Shedham, getting that Bulldog right back out of their hands. Texture dead here on the side. Ash across to the opposite side as Munchkin gets the spot out, but cannot get the shots to connect as Aspas is doing so much damage. Swaps to the classic, and he shuts down Foxy 9. Rotates over, gets a weapon upgrade, back over for the defuse. MIBR, the force buy. Fine. Value as they will get themselves another round win here in the second half.
It is amazing how many headshots that Aspas is hitting with that stinger. Some great shutdowns as well, but they are so well drilled there. I mean, these hits that he's getting, Foxy doing his damnedest, but Aspas just too darn good. That was a risk that paid off big time for MIBR. It's their map pick. They've got to turn it around. Let's see if they can keep it going here on this defender side. A few Sheriffs going to be bought up for Gen G. Otherwise, not much to speak of.
Net does get the grab there, but no way to play off the back of it, so it'll just be removed. Munchkin, quick little peek in towards the B site. Tiny bit of damage suffered. Grabs the orb. Looks like he's trying to fake back, but camera's still set up here in main.
It really
now
feels like, yeah, it really feels like Gen G is just trying to bait some responses out of MIBR. Munchkin's trying to get the download on what these defensive setups are going to look like, so he can kind of figure out as this half goes on how he can maneuver around it, where he can spot the weak sides. Because so far they haven't been able to find too much. MIBR has been holding their cards pretty close to the vest, so they're going to have a tough execute coming through here potentially.
Cage set up, a little bit of spray through. Is he able to find some damage? Eats quite a bit of damage in response. Down to 14. His exit trying to escape. Shock Dart will chase him, but Aspas Cortezia able to find one piece. Aspas Inferno now. The dynamic duo getting involved. As Guard with the classic will get the shutdown mid-slide. Gets a headshot to try to make a go of it, but can't find much more damage there. 3 players surviving. MIBR up to 5.
All right. Now Rifle's going to come into play for Gen G. You have Foxy 9's ult, the Annihilation, available for Deadlock. Aspas starting to heat up. Slow start to the map. 7 kills now. He can keep picking it up. Definitely MIBR can come back into this. Bruno has been their shining star so far. They're going to need one of the best players in Valorant to really start stepping up. Here goes that 3-man push. Down mid again. This time, though, don't like what they see. Recon there. Texture's just going to send some shots into the smokes just to make sure there's not going to be any more aggression. Gen G's going to... I thought they might consider to take some mid control, but instead they're still just watching to see what MIBR is going to do.
A recall on the cam there for Cortezia. Doesn't get cleared out. Seems suspicious though, seeing the wall, and gets a very solid read on Munchkin's position. Seems like it's MIBR, the ones that are getting the download now.
Yeah, they're just corralled right now, our Gen G. They're gonna have to hit some pretty nasty shots to get out of this.
Aspas over the top, drops down to the worst possible moment there as Texture trying to escape, slides back across the wall. Shots flying, but the grab comes in. Cortezia being dragged to his demise. Foxy 9 this time able to find some value off the back of the ultimate. That now leaves Shenup low on HP. 7 health, getting the kill. Onto the first. Foxy 9 playing ring around the rosy. He's going to rotate across over towards Boba. There's the ping reveal. And there is the shot. Gen G not letting MIBR build up the momentum here. They get themselves another round win off the back of the bye. Still suffer some heavy losses, though. Neither team's economy going to be in the most stable position.
And the fact that Texture gets out behind his own fast lane before he gets killed is incredible. And the timing as well, just a bit unfortunate for Aspas. Just wasn't quite prepared for Texture to be that pushed up.
Any other weapon, he's dead to rights.
Yeah, and then that opens up the Annihilation behind it. I mean, that's just the way everything kind of crumbled there.
Revealing area.
Same dart here from Ash round over round, just trying to make sure that these pushes out into mid aren't coming through from MIBR. Allows them to funnel their focus forward onto the sites themselves. Just a Sheriff in hand here for the Cypher.
Kind of an awkward tripwire setup.
And going for the diagonal. Runs out of bullets, running straight back. Texture spawning out Verno. Sends out the relay bolt to try to hold him back. We'll be able to do so successfully.
And you've got a lot of util here on Foxy 9. He can decide where he's going to funnel MIBR into. Sets up the barrier mesh at market.
And the pit. But I mean, they want them to have to only go through market now. The pit's going to be invested. Locks off back of sight Boba. Another grab net at the ready here from Foxy 9. Slow up the approach. Sends it, catches on the 2. Get the clear fault line. Gonna connect on to Karan, but he's got the paranoia. So as the util gets exchanged, it's still going to be Gen G who end up coming out on top. As Karan gets the spray down onto the final 2 players, and Gen G get themselves up to map point flawless fashion.
They're just really dialed in today. The crossfire setup, Texture finding that first kill to open up the site. Cortezia, nothing he can do. Foxy looking really sharp there, catching Aspas on the end of the slide. Karan there, tucked into the cubby on site. Just incredible the form that Gen G has come into this opening match of Masters Toronto with. A lot of ults though for MIBR.
Well, the last force worked. This one though, a bit more desperate and off to a rough start. The Cypher dead, the spike gonna be planted here. Less than 20 seconds of the round starting. Karen up over the top, about to catch Eclipse. Gets the readjust. Then I'm gonna be taken down. Cover going out. And that was some of their heaviest hitting weapons available to them as Aspas desperately tries to scoop it up. Karen finds the headshot before falling. Hunter's Fury fishing for the rest. It's a 2v4. Ooh, Huntsy's able to find the first. A great headshot there on the texture. Shock dart up and over the top, and Foxy9 on a timing, able to just go ahead, peek in, finds the kill, and takes Verno down to boot. 13-5. Gen G looking electric here on Mibr's map pick of Sunset.
That is an unbelievably hot start on their opponent's map pick. Crazy good stuff.
Onto the final two players, and Gen G get themselves. As Karan gets the spray down onto the final.
Mantap coy.